A year like we have never seen before. Life as we know it has changed. We've social distanced, stayed inside, and worn masks. It has taken its toll on all of us. But now,
it's time we got back to work.
It's time to knuckle up. In the 305, a storm has been brewing.
The Peruvian-born Luis Palomino.
I was destined to be where I am today.
One-way traffic now for Luis Palomino. Spinning back fist.
Nobody's there when you're doing and putting in all that hard work, all that sacrifice, all those meals that you can't eat, the drinks that you can't have, the party that you can't do. All of that is done where nobody can see it. And we do it, and we train that hard so that the fight can be very easy, so we can enjoy the moment. I'm gonna slice that face until he's out.
But no title shot is without contention.
Everybody knows it, that I deserve this belt. I feel, they're fighting for that interim belt. I'm really the champ.
I don't care what Jim says about me. He's got his fight bravado, and that's fine. When I get the belt wrapped around my waist, Jim can come for the title if he wants it, but that's gonna be my title.
Coming alive.
I don't need to go online and say a bunch of shit. I'm going to be doing my talking in the ring, and then I'll do the same thing with Jim.
Good right hand, then the left.
I think I want this title more than anybody right now. We have a game plan going into this, but it's going to be hitting him more than he hits me. I think Luis is going to be my toughest challenge, and the dude has tons of experience, and he's a really good striker. So the fight in front of me is always the toughest one, not the one behind me or the one after that. I won't lose, and I can't lose.
That is it. One punch, walk away, knockout win. Big overhand, counter right hand.
It's Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship 11, and it starts right now.
Tonight, Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship makes its return as we are live in the picturesque home city of Ole Miss, Oxford, Mississippi for BKFC 11. On tap, a stacked 8-bout card beginning in the 205-pound division. T. Cummins versus John McCallister. Bout number 2 at 170 pounds, Joe Elmore versus UFC veteran Will Chope. Then in the heavyweight division, Chris Saro versus Victor Jones. At 155 pounds, Roy Jones Jr. trained Luis Hernandez versus Odb Taylor. On then to the heavyweights, Codie Shuffield, the undefeated pro boxer, versus Herbert Morgan. At 165 pounds, a pair of BKFC veterans, Kaleb Harris versus Elvin Brito. Our co-main event of the evening in the heavyweight division, Dillon Cleckler versus Frank Tate. And our main event of BKFC 11, the winner claims the inaugural Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship 155-pound world title, Luis Palomino versus Isaac Vallie-Flagg. Hey everyone, with Chris Lights Out Lytle, I'm Sean Wheelock. Chris, you and I are obviously thrilled to be back. Number one in the return for BKFC from the BKFC founder and president, David Feldman, is safety. Safety for the fighters, the staff, the officials, and the fans.
I'm very proud to be part of BKFC for many reasons, but one of them being the safety precautions they're taking right now. We've done lots of testing, COVID test, obviously, social distancing, masks. We've done everything we can to make sure this is safe for the fighters and the fans and the staff.
Chris, you and I were last together February 15th in Fort Lauderdale, Florida for BKFC 10. That was a great card.
Great card with a great main event. David Mendel fought against Hector Lombard. Hector Lombard came with a great victory. It was a good fight. Co-main event on that was Jim Allers versus Kaleb Harris. Unfortunately for us, Jim is not able to fight tonight.
So that absence from Jim Allers opens up this main event. Again, the winner becomes the first ever BKFC 155-pound world titleist. This is going to be something very special. Luis Palomino versus Isaac Vallie-Flagg.
Very exciting fight right now. Victor Palomino, great fighter. You have Isaac Vallie-Flagg, totally different styles. He tries to put a lot of pressure on you versus a counter striker. It's going to be a great fight. I can't wait to see it.
Chris, you and I are really excited for the return of BKFC tonight, and we are really excited to tell you about the all-new Bare Knuckle TV app. You can download it now at bktvapp.com.
Great app, can't wait to get part of this because you have to see stuff in this one you normally don't get to. You get to hear fighters in their interviews, not only their interviews, but what they think on the back scene, not just in front of the camera. You get to hear it all.
Chris, through the opening 10 events of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, we've had a really high rate of finishes. We do not expect to see that change at all in our opening bout of the evening.
Very good. We have T. Cummins, a guy who's undefeated as a professional fighter right now, versus John McCallister, who has had 2 bare knuckle fights. So we're going to see what's going to win here, the experience in doing bare knuckle or the experience winning as a professional.
Time now for the numbers. It is our tale of the tape for the opening bout of the evening, set at 205 pounds. T. Cummins versus John McCallister.
And the thing that jumps out here at you is the size and reach advantage for T. Cummins. 3 inches could be significant because you know John McCallister's coming to put T. Cummins lights out.
To get us started, here is the phenomenal Jeff Houston.
Okay, and here we have John McCallister getting ready right now, getting some Vaseline on his face, just getting all ready because you don't want to get hit and be cut open. You can make that a lot better when you get Vaseline put on you.
John McCallister, his 2nd fight in BKFC, 3rd fight overall in bare knuckle in the sport, Chris. His opponent, T. Cummins, 2-0 is his pro MMA record. This is his bare knuckle and indeed his BKFC debut.
Really enjoyed talking with him. He talked about him being a power lifter. Look at his physique, very strong. Talking to him, he really wants to come in, put on a show, and put his opponent down very quickly.
T. Cummins said, I want to be patient. I want to make this an outside fight. I want to catch my opponent, John McCallister, coming in. McCallister told us, Chris, in his fighter meeting, this is going to be like, quote, 2 trucks colliding. He said he's going to rush forward, I'm going to rush forward.
And that's what we want to see when we start off the night. 2 guys coming together, putting on the line, and seeing who wins a fight.
Now, here is the phenomenal Jeff Houston.
Hello, 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 Oxford! Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the awesome Lafayette County Arena here in Oxford, Mississippi. And after a 4-month hiatus, we are back! Welcome to the most exciting combat sport on planet Earth today. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship 11! And we are set for the opening fight of the night, scheduled for 5 2-minute rounds at the Bare Knuckle 205-pound division, presented to you by Mary Jane's House of Glass. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the red corner. Tonight he wears blue trimmed in white. His official weight, 203.4 pounds. He steps into the squared circle as a bare knuckle fighter for the 3rd time tonight. Fighting out of Follansbee, West Virginia, here is John, the Great One, McCallister. And across the ring, his opponent fighting out of the blue corner. Tonight, he wears white and black. His official weight, 205.5 pounds. As an MMA fighter, he holds an undefeated record at 2-0. Fighting out of Memphis, Tennessee, here is T, the Experiment, Cummins. And our referee in charge of the action, Wayne Spinola.
Set now for our opening bout of the evening, the return of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, BKFC 11 from Oxford, Mississippi. Both fighters towing the line, up to scratch.
Ready? Knuckle up!
Knuckle up from referee Wayne Spinola, and coming forward as he said he would is John McCallister. He is in the blue trunks, T. Cummins in the white trunks.
You got to be very careful coming straight forward like that. A counter punch could end the night right away.
Be sure to download the BKFC app, now available, bareknuckle.tv. Welcome all of you watching live across the United States, Canada, and indeed worldwide. There is the separation from Wayne Spinola. If you're new to BKFC, you can punch in the clinch, but it has to be an active clinch. You cannot lock your hands. You cannot stall.
And I'm liking the way right now T. Cummins looks very relaxed out there, more so than you would think for this being his first bare knuckle fight.
Also, if you're new to Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, you'll note the 2-minute rounds, they fly by. 1 minute, 15 seconds remaining, round number 1. This and all bouts tonight, scheduled for 5 2-minute rounds. Hands high and tight from T. Cummins. First bare knuckle fight, no pro boxing in his career, but he is 2-0 in his pro MMA career. And he said starting at 18 for 6.5 years, he was a very serious power lifter. Never started training MMA until age 25, and now unloading shots on the inside. McCallister covering his head, covering his face. There's the counter right hand from McCallister.
Good job on throwing back. I thought for a minute he was just going to cover up. You have to stand your ground at some point and decide to throw back. That's exactly what McCallister did. He can earn his respect that way.
Wayne Spinola, the referee, keeping this fight moving indeed it does. 35 seconds remaining, round number 1. McCallister trying to be patient off of the one, off of that jab.
I think McCallister's holding back a little bit. He's looking to counterpunch where he needs to be getting off first.
Lead left hook from Cummins on the inside. That did not work. The clinch now for McCallister. Slight swelling under the left eye of John McCallister. Cummins trying to work off of the jab. Chris, you see the slight stalking pressure of T. Cummins, but he said he really respects the power of McCallister. You can see it.
Well, I think he felt it right there when he was throwing a flurry. He got countered, so I think he knows he's got to be careful when he's coming in.
That is the end of round number 1. Again, this is the first of 8 bouts tonight on this absolutely stacked BKFC 11 card from Oxford, Mississippi. It will culminate with our main event of the evening for the inaugural BKFC 155-pound world title. Luis Palomino, 43 pro MMA fights in his career, wins over Charles Bennett, Musa Hamadev, and Jorge Masvidal. A win tonight makes him the champ. His opponent, Isaac Vallie-Flagg, also a fantastic pro MMA career, including stops in the UFC and Strikeforce.
I see them putting some ice on McCallister's hand right now, wondering if he hurt that in one of those big overhand rights he threw.
You know what I'm saying? Let's put it.
A little bit of a replay right here. T just throwing a good flurry right now. Big punch thrown right there by McCallister.
Don't wait so long. Okay?
Now here is corner telling him the right advice. He needs to do that a little bit quicker. He needs to do that a little bit earlier. Throw those punches. He can't sit there and take too many of them.
In Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, the wraps must be at least 1 inch below the knuckle. Some fighters, such as Tony Lopez, who I think has the largest hands in fighting, just puts 1 strip of tape. You have to have a strip of either red or blue tape. That's for the judges to decipher the punches. That's based on your corner assignment. But again, the maximum is to 1 inch below the knuckle. Wraps have really evolved over the 2 years of BKFC.
Quite different, like you said. Tony Lopez, this was 1 little strap around his wrist.
Big shot, big flurry from T. Cummins. Strong start to round number 2. McCallister trying to go over the top, now on the inside fighting.
And McCallister did do a good job right there of covering up.
Down goes John McCallister, and that is ruled a knockdown by Wayne Spinola.
4, 5, 6, 7.
He's not looking like he wants to continue the fight too much, to be honest with you.
That's it. Fight's over.
You see the stagger from McCallister. That is it, and the victory in his BKFC debut for T. Cummins.
I know he's fighting it right now, but when you look at his legs, that was a good call. His legs were not underneath him, and you can't let the fight go on because he's just going to take a bad punch and get hurt. Checking out the replay right there, doing some good inside fighting. That was a punch right there, just 1 shot. That's all it takes sometimes, and you can tell by the way he tries to get up, his legs weren't underneath him anymore. Might look like a glancing blow, but you hit somebody in the top of the head like that, it can really do some damage.
Chris, T. Cummins told us, I have to pace myself well, I have to stay smart. I think mission accomplished in this bout.
I was really impressed with his ability, only having a few fights to stay relaxed like that. He looked like he was in control the whole time, didn't get out of breath, didn't throw too many punches at the wrong time. He was very, very poised, much like a guy who has a lot more pro fights than just 2.
Slight mouse under Cummins' left eye, otherwise relatively clean face. Getting the knockout win in round number 2. Disappointment from John McCallister. Trained very hard for this fight. He really felt that he had the power to land the big shots, to turn the fight in his favor. He was just simply overwhelmed by the pressure of T. Cummins.
Well, and he just got caught with a punch, and once he got knocked out, his legs weren't there, the referee had to stop it.
Here's Jeff Houston.
Ladies and gentlemen, our referee in charge, Wayne Spinola, steps in and calls a stop to the fight at 42 seconds into round number 2 for your winner by TKO, T the Experiment Cummins.
Great victory for T. Cummins. I can't wait to see him fight again. Big, strong, athletic guy. Seemed relaxed. That's what you need to be successful in this sport, and he has all that.
T. Cummins 2-0 in his pro MMA career, now 1-0 in his pro bare knuckle career. And again, there's that pressure, the knockdown, and indeed the only knockdown of the fight.
You don't even have to get a great punch when you got that kind of power. If it barely touches the guy sometimes, that's enough.
In our opening bout of the evening, the winner by way of second round TKO, T. Cummins defeats John McCallister. Gentlemen, to the line. Buckle up. Set now for a bout in BKFC's 170-pound division, Joe Elmore versus Will Chope.
And the thing that just jumps out at this fight right now is a huge reach at finish for Will Chope. He's got reach, he's got height, everything that you need to be a good fight. This has it right here.
This marks the 119th, yes, 119th pro fight of the career for Will Chope. Born in the United States, now based in Phuket, Thailand. He has fought in MMA, boxing, Muay Thai, Letway, and now bare knuckle as a professional. One bout in the UFC versus Max Holloway, January of 2014, at 145 pounds. Chope, you see how lean he is, 6'4", tonight fighting at 170. It's impossible that he fought Holloway at 145.
I cannot imagine that. Being 6'4", he must have just been skinny as a rail or had a huge weight cut. So regardless, I like seeing him at 170. He's filled out a little bit. I think it leads to more power and can be to a better fighter. Sometimes I think people cut too much weight.
Chope said to us in our fighter meeting, with my experience comes relaxation. He said, but I don't want to be too relaxed. I know I have a dangerous opponent in Joe Elmore. He said, I want to use my reach all the way in or all the way out. I cannot fight him in the pocket.
That's a smart fighter, you know. He's had so many fights. That's exactly what he wants to stand where he can hit and not get hit. If he's too close, he's right there in Joe Elmore's. And Joe has got some power and he knows it, so he's got to stay outside and keep moving, cutting angles so he doesn't get hit with that overhand right.
Joe Elmore, 1 pro boxing bout, 25 pro MMA bouts in his career. Stops in Bellator and LFA. A Taekwondo black belt, he said, into bare knuckle and indeed into my boxing and MMA bouts, what I bring from Taekwondo is footwork. I can switch stances, naturally right-handed, but he said I have more power with my left hand. And in that very traditional Taekwondo, which Elmore trained in starting as a child, it was switching the stances, oftentimes putting your power hand first.
You know, you talk about that very technical, but at the same time, he said his opponent probably has more technique than him. He's a more technical fighter. And he even said, fans are gonna love this. He's willing to take one to give one. He's willing to go out there and trade. He said he actually likes it. He feels woken up when he gets hit for the first time. He's gonna get that option here, I guarantee it.
Elmore also told us, I think Chope is going to try to land shots from the outside, win with volume and attrition. He said, I have a powerful left hand. I'm looking for the one-punch knockout.
Oh, and you can tell just by the way he carries himself, he prides himself as a knockout artist. He's going to get that option here because Will's going to be there. He wants to land that overhand that really works well against taller fighters like that.
Again, Jeff Houston.
Fight fans of Oxford, we are set for the next fight of the night live on the Bare Knuckle TV app. Scheduled for 5 two-minute rounds in the Bare Knuckle 170-pound division. Presented to you by BetOnline.ag. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the red corner. Tonight, he wears the white trimmed in black. His official weight, 170.5 pounds. He holds a combined combat sports record of 62 professional fights, and as a bare knuckle fighter, he holds a record of 1 victory opposite a single defeat. Fighting out of Phuket, Thailand, by way of Rupert, Idaho, here is Will the Kill Chope! And across the ring, his opponent fighting out of the blue corner. Tonight, he wears red, trimmed in white and black. His official weight, 170.8 pounds. His MMA record stands at 15 victories opposite 12 defeats. Fighting out of Atlanta, Georgia, here is Joe Hitman Elmore. And our referee in charge of the action, Big Dan Mergliata.
Joe Elmore talked about rushing off of the scratch line, overwhelming Chope early. Chope talked about feeling his way into the fight, taking his time, staying calm. We shall see, Chris.
You can definitely see the intensity of Joe Elmore right from the beginning.
Round number 1. Red trunks for Joe Elmore, steps in with the right hand. White trunks for Will Chope. High, tight striking guard for Will Chope.
Definitely looking to counter right now.
Chope feigning with the right hand. Tentative jab from Elmore, looking for the entry. Eats the left. Overhand left doesn't get through.
I see a little cut already on Joe's eye.
Right hand to the body from Elmore.
He tried that switch that he was talking about, switching and coming with the big overhand left.
Big wide swings from Elmore, missing the mark. There's the straight right and sheer.
And he's hurt. He's hurt.
The hands touch, and that's a knockdown. Ruled correctly by Mergliata.
He's hurt. He's hurt. Let's see if he's able to keep going. He's a tough guy. He's had a lot of fights. Let's see if he can make it through this round.
Chope looking to finish another switch of stances. You can really see that Taekwondo background.
I think this might be over. This fight is over.
It is. Game, set, match. Welcome to Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, Joe Elmore.
Somebody is excited. Look at that. Fired up for this fight. He was from the very beginning when he first came walking out. He's fired up. He's still fired up. He wants to fight again, I can tell.
Joe Elmore, 5'9", knocking out in round number 1, 6'4" Will Chope. Chris, you know, I know, in combat sports, you have to make your physique work for you. Chope makes his physique work, but not tonight against Elmore. Got underneath that range, that reach, that power, and landed his power shots just where he wanted to be, in the pocket.
And that's what he said he was going to do. Will was trying to be counter puncher. He was standing back. Joe Elmore just got inside and landed big punches. That's all it takes in this sport is one punch, and that's exactly what happened. You could tell after he landed that first big right hand, Will Chope was ever the same, and it was just a matter of time.
Will Chope is such a talented fighter. Again, this pro bout across MMA, boxing, Muay Thai, Letway, and now bare knuckle 119. But Joe Elmore had a game plan. He laid it out very beautifully for us, and he absolutely delivered with that game plan.
Absolutely. We're going to watch a replay right here. Here comes that big punch with the right hand. Just caught him right on the button. And I don't really care who you are. You're going to get hit with that big punch. After this, it's just a matter of time because he's still hurt. When you got a guy like Joe Elmore throwing big punches at you, something's going to get through.
And again, Dan Mergliata correctly ruling knockdown number 1 as such, because even though the knee didn't go down, Chope bracing on the canvas with his hands, no argument. That was clearly a knockdown. Elmore sensed the moment, and he finished.
Oh, he was clearly hurt right from that big punch.
Here's Jeff Houston.
Ladies and gentlemen, our referee in charge, Big Dan Mergliata, steps in and calls a stop to the fight at 52 seconds, round number 1. Your winner by KO, Joe Hitman Elmore.
Chris, in our fighter meeting, Joe Elmore said to you, you're one of my favorites. That was a Chris Lights Out Lytle-like performance with those heavy hands.
Well, I like to see myself fight like that. That was a great performance. I think he's made a name for himself. He's coming throwing bombs. He's coming to put people away. I don't see this guy going the distance many times, and that's what we want here. We want people who are going to throw big punches. And here's another look at that, switching up steps, trying to get inside any way he can, and that's exactly what he did right there. Got in, landed a good uppercut into the night.
That's knockdown number 2, and indeed the final knockdown of the fight. The winner, by way of first-round TKO, Joe Elmore defeats Will Chope. All right, gentlemen, to the line. Buckle up. Tonight marks the return of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship as we are in historic and picturesque Oxford, Mississippi for BKFC 11 with Chris Lights Out Lytle. I'm Sean Wheelock. So glad that you are with us, watching live across the United States, Canada, and indeed worldwide. Coming up tonight, Chris, our main event, Luis Palomino versus Isaac Vallie-Flagg. The winner becomes the first ever BKFC 155-pound world champion.
And you can't ask for a better fight. You got two guys who are extremely tough. Neither one of these guys gets knocked out. Both of these guys have a lot of offense. It's going to be a different style of fights. Vallie-Flagg wanting to get outside. Palomino wanting to continue to counter punch. It's going to be a great fight. I think we're going to have a fight that could possibly go the distance, but we will have to see.
That is our main event of the evening, scheduled for 5 2-minute rounds. The Bare Knuckle TV app is now here. It is presented by Fusion CBD. Get unlimited access to the full library of BKFC events, fighter interviews, behind-the-scenes content, and more. Available on all smartphones and most streaming devices. Download now at bktvApp.com. 2 fights, 2 finishes. I think that just might continue with bout number 3. The tale of the tape for this heavyweight bout. Chris Saro versus Victor Jones.
And the only thing that I see that looks different is Chris Saro has experience doing bare knuckle. Might only be 1 fight, but I've told people this before. The first time you get in there, sometimes you feel naked. You don't know what's going on with no gloves. Will that be the difference? Will Chris Saro be able to use that experience to get a victory over Victor Jones? Everything else on this seems to be very, very similar, so there's not a lot to go on besides that experience. That's why I think that is the most important factor that we can find, and a lot of times that is the biggest difference, is experience.
There is Victor Jones from Grand Rapids, Michigan, making his BKFC debut with this bout. 17 pro MMA fights. Very good athlete, played the Division II college football for Grand Valley State, was a linebacker, as are most MMA fighters who play college football. 90% of them are linebackers. I think it's the fast feet and the ability to read and react.
That makes a lot of sense. You don't get too many linemen up here, you're right.
No offense to your buddy and training partner, Matt Mitrione.
He's the exception, not the norm. Kind of when it comes to everything, I think Mitrione's the exception.
Jones prides himself on being a very creative, very unconventional striker. He said, I throw power punches from unusual angles. He said, I like to confuse my opponent. I think Saro has heavy hands, but he told us, I think he lacks movement. I am all about movement.
That was what he really was focusing on, his movement. He thinks Saro's head is going to be right there to be punched, which is very important. Head movement is key when it comes to any kind of combative sport, and he's watched enough tape. I think that he knows that his opponent doesn't move his head, but there's a difference. You have to be able to get in there to hit that guy's head before he can hit you.
Marcus Davis, Tim Sylvia, two outstanding fighters from Maine. Chris Saro wants to add his name to that list from Ellsworth in the state of Maine. 1-0 in BKFC, 1-0 in his pro MMA career. Was the 2019 Northern New England Golden Gloves champion. Saro told us, Chris, after his BKFC debut, he reached out to Jason Knight. They talked on the phone. Knight invited him to come and train down in this state, Mississippi. Knight, Alan Belcher, Brock Weaver were in the camp. Saro said, when I left there, I understood what it is to really be a professional fighter.
And that is huge, being able to go down and train with other guys, not only who are professional fighters, but guys who have done professional bare knuckle fighting. That's a whole different animal. So him going down there was probably so good for him. He got so much experience. Every time he was in there training, it was a different experience than when he's back in his home state of Maine. So I think we're going to look at a different fighter right now. He's done a lot of experience, done a lot of work. He's done everything he needs to be successful in this fight.
As Jones told us, he prides himself on being unconventional, on being creative. Saro told us he prides himself on being very smart, very technical. He said, I'm aggressive, but it's controlled aggression. I am never reckless.
Yeah, and we'll see if that can come true right here, because it's very difficult to be tame. It's very difficult to be in control when you have somebody doing erratic things out there and they're unpredictable. It's very hard to be very predictable. Sometimes they drag you into that fight. So I think that's what this fight's going to be about. Who's going to dictate their game plan? Is it going to be the conventional style, or is it going to be an erratic fight?
Chris Saro said, what I have learned through now just one fight in bare knuckle and also training with Jason Knight, Alan Belcher, and Brock Weaver, I have to be first in this sport in every exchange. I cannot be playing catch-up, and that's great wisdom.
Well, it took him only one fight to figure that out, and we've been doing this a while, and that's one thing I can tell you too. Whoever gets off first usually wins.
Back we go now to Jeff Houston.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now set for the next fight of the night. Scheduled for 5 2-minute rounds in the bare knuckle heavyweight division. Presented to you by Fusion CBD. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the red corner. Tonight he wears gray trimmed in black. His official weight, 231 pounds. He is an MMA veteran of 17 professional fights. Fighting out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, here is Victor Bone Crusher Jones. And across the ring, his opponent fighting out of the blue corner. Tonight, he wears gold and black. His official weight, 226.5 pounds. He holds an undefeated MMA record at 1-0 and an undefeated bare knuckle record at 1-0. Fighting out of Ellsworth, Maine, here is Chris Golden Glove Saro. And our referee in charge of the action, Bill Clancy.
Set now for this heavyweight bout. Note the shoes of Victor Jones. That might mean nothing. That might mean everything. Non-traditional fighting shoes up to scratch. The bell in round number 1. Dillon black trunks for Chris Saro. Gray trunks for Victor Jones. Jones, you see the fluidity of movement.
Looks pretty good right now.
This is with the left hand. Great jab from Saro. Very conventional boxing stance. Big swing and a miss on the overhand right from Victor Jones.
Both these guys are bouncing around a lot right now, looking like a Taekwondo fighter almost.
See the feint, the overhand right. Counter on the right, just misses from Jones.
I'd like to see a left hook by Saro. It seems like every time Victor's ducking into that, left hook could really be a problem for him.
120 remaining, round number 1. Saro again trying to be very technical. There's the 1-2. That was technical. Saro trying to lift Chris off the jab early.
Both guys really just looking to land that right hand. The jab is just a setup for that.
Jones keeps throwing, just trying to use the jab as a rangefinder. Not full commitment, at least not yet.
He is definitely pulling away as he throws that jab.
Slight smile on the face of Victor Jones on that miss. Maybe a look of amusement.
I think whoever can set up a double jab followed by that right hand is going to really have a good time with it.
Saro taking his time, definitely respects the power, the athleticism of Victor Jones as Chris Saro landing on the inside, right back out.
These guys got to be very careful on the inside. When they throw a big punch, whoever gets caught with is probably going down.
There's a big right hand, and down just like that goes Victor Jones. Up at 9.
He didn't get up in time. He waited till too late.
Mistiming the count. Bill Clancy stops this fight, and just like that, 2-0 in BKFC is Chris Saro.
And it's hard to tell there if he didn't want to get up or if he just mistimed it right there. Both guys throwing heavy hands right here, and it was just that one right hand that hurt him. Just like we said earlier, you got to be careful with guys throwing that hard of punches. It's the first one that lands is probably going to do it, and that's exactly what happened there.
Chris, as Clancy was counting, the corner of Jones was saying, take your time, and Jones took too much time, did not beat the 10 count.
Yeah.
You have to be up and ready by 10.
I don't know if he just didn't quite understand what was going on right there because his bell was rung, or if he just mistimed it, but it's a little strange. Or maybe he just didn't want to fight. It's very hard to tell.
Victor Jones seemed very nervous, very agitated all fight week. You could see trying to psych himself up. In our hotel parking lot, we saw him out shadow boxing, running around, a lot of nervous energy, and I just don't think he could fully settle into this fight. And again, facing a really talented opponent, Chris Saro, who has one goal as a professional fighter, and that is to be a champion in bare knuckle fighting championship.
Well, he's very talented, but he also hits very hard. That really helps. As you can see right there, one punch could end the night, and that's exactly what happened right there.
Chris, I was a professional boxing referee for a long time. I started when I was 22, mainly on the Midwest circuit.
Nice.
You were too good. I never got to referee you in Indiana. But one thing I learned very quickly, look at a fighter's shoes. Again, sometimes it means nothing. Sometimes it means everything. Sometimes they just are more comfortable in running shoes. Sometimes they forgot their shoes.
Sure.
Other times, maybe they just haven't made the proper preparation that they don't have correct shoes.
Yeah, and right there, it's hard to tell whether he just didn't want to fight anymore or his bell was rung and he just didn't understand what was going on. Either way, I think it was a good stoppage.
And it was definitely a good stoppage and definitely a first-class performance from Chris Saro. Here's Jeff Houston.
Ladies and gentlemen, our referee, Bill Clancy, reaches the count of 10. At 1 minute 50 seconds, round number 1, your winner by KO and still undefeated, Chris Golden Gloves Saro.
That officially goes down as a knockout and not a TKO, again, because Bill Clancy reaching the count of 10. Whether Victor Jones just didn't want to get up or mistimed the count or misheard his corner or misheard Bill Clancy, perhaps that will be lost to history. What will not be lost to history is that Chris Saro comes in with another devastating performance.
There's that big right hand. You could tell right away that hurt him. It wasn't the second punch. It was the first punch, and that was enough to end the night.
The winner, by way of first-round knockout, he has his eyes fully on becoming the next BKFC heavyweight champion. A big step forward. The winner, as Chris Saro defeats Victor Jones. All right, gentlemen, to the line. BKFC 11, 3 fights, 3 finishes. We've not yet seen round number 3, still 5 fights to go. and almost assuredly you will see plenty more finishes tonight. We're really pleased to be joined now on the broadcast by the newest member of the BKFC team, Brian Sosha.
And it is my pleasure to be here for Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship 11. What a great night we've had already of fights, and even more to come. I am here with BKFC president, a guy making a lot of this possible, David Feldman. And David, this has been a challenge. I must compliment you for how well you've been treating us and paying attention to safety concerns with COVID-19 running this event.
Yeah, man, it's been a tough challenge for us. We wanted to get back in action a couple times. We had a couple false starts. As you know, this pandemic has hit everybody hard. And we tried so hard to get back in action, and here we are tonight. We're live, we're back in action. We have a tremendous night of fights ahead of us, and it's just gonna be an amazing night. We're so glad to get these fighters back in action, the staff, everybody paid, and having fun again. I mean, that's what it's really about. We are the first live event in the country to actually have a fan base here. You know, we kept it very limited. We did a 25% attendance. We actually only did 15%. We were allowed 25%. We temperature checked everybody. We did everything we're supposed to do. They're social distance. They're having a great time. Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship is back, Brian.
Yes, it is, Dave. And you know, that's not only for the fighters, for everybody's been tested. I was tested, you've gone through the tests. Very safe atmosphere, I commend you on that. But also, I've seen the rumors online today. I know there's another huge announcement. I want to ask you about that. It's been all over the internet, but if they missed it, I want to make sure it's true from your mouth. This is a gigantic announcement for Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. This changes our future even more. It's even brighter.
It's a phenomenal partnership that we have right now. You know, Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, the fastest growing sport in the world, has now teamed up with the fastest growing online streaming platform in the world, DAZN. So Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship will be exclusively on DAZN for the next few fights. We have a series that we're going to do with DAZN, and we look forward to doing really big things with them. So that announcement's going to come shortly what the next date's going to be, but we're going to have a few fights on DAZN. We're going to expose this product to so many different people. It's a great thing because partnerships work when they work both ways. So we're bringing a lot of brand new faces to DAZN, and they're going to expose us to a lot of combat sport fans that haven't seen us before. So this is just a tremendous opportunity for you and for us, and a tremendous partnership, and we're very, very happy.
And if I could speak candidly with David, I know that, Dave, you've been growing this, and this is a huge opportunity for you. I'm proud to be a part of it. I know we all are. And you know what? This is the future. I mean, this is, like you said, the fastest growing sport. So proud to be a part of it. As we get back to the action here in a couple minutes, David, thank you so much for coming on with me. The president here with a huge announcement. I mean, does it get much bigger than that?
Thanks so much, Brian. We look forward to a great night of fights. If you tuned in already, keep watching, because these next couple of fights that we have, these next 3 or 4 or 5 fights, the remainder of the fights are going to be tremendous. We have a co-main event and main event where we have odds on, and they're presented by betonline.ag. So go on there if you want to throw some money on these fights. It's going to be a tremendous night of fights. And again, thank you so much. And don't forget to download the Bare Knuckle TV app. Go to bkTVapp.com.
Dave, thank you for the work you've put in. Thank all the fighters, and I'm going to give you a fist pound because that's what we do here at Bare Knuckle. Boom. Let's throw it back to my main man, Sean, and see what's going on ringside.
Brian, David, thank you very much. Again, so glad that you're with us across the U.S., Canada, and worldwide for the return of BKFC. It's BKFC 11, Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, indeed the fastest growing sport in the world.
I was destined to be where I am today. I've been ordained by God. You know, everything is in His will and in His power. And I believe that I am the good son that I was, the good brother, the good boyfriend, the good father, and the great student. I'm here to learn, but I'm here to take what's mine, and that's to be champion again and to hold that belt for a very long time.
The whole thing has been rough, and I think I'm going to let that out come fight night. Look, yeah, I'm gonna knock Luis out in the 5th round. It's going to take a while. He's a tough dude, but it's going to be a 5th round knockout. I won't lose, and I can't lose.
The evening coming up tonight, Luis Palomino versus Isaac Vallie-Flagg. And again, a reminder, it is the all-new Bare Knuckle TV app. You can see extended interviews as well as our complete fight archives. Moving on, again, 3 fights, Chris, and 3 rapid-fire finishes. Now 155-pounders. Luis Hernandez versus Odb Taylor. You see the numbers.
the thing that stands out once again on this one is a huge reach advantage for Luis Hernandez. He's got reach, he's got size, he's got everything in this. However, that doesn't mean everything. Odb Taylor has heavy hands. He's ready to throw a big punch. We saw it earlier tonight. Not always the tallest guy is going to win. So that's going to be the big difference right there is height, but that might be a good thing or it might be a bad thing. We'll see what happens.
Odb Taylor, first fight ever in BKFC. First fight ever in pro bare knuckle. 6 pro boxing bouts in his career, 18 pro MMA bouts. Also fought and won 4 tough man contests. Chris, my late father used to take me to tough man contests in Kansas City, Kansas as a kid. Those were some of the worst beatings I ever saw in my life.
Well, that's all about power, and that's what I was talking about earlier. This guy has the power. Reach advantage is huge if you use it properly. And what he's trying to do right now, Bobby's trying to get inside to land that big right hand. That's what we saw earlier with Joe Elmore. You know, Chope had the big reach advantage, but you have to use it. It's not an advantage if you don't use it. It can be a huge advantage. It can also be a detriment if the guy gets inside. So that's kind of what this fight depends on to me, is distancing, where the fight takes place. Bobby needs to get inside if he wants to win this fight.
Odb Taylor told us this is all about my dirty boxing. He said Luis Hernandez is a better boxer than I am. He's more technical. He said, but this isn't boxing, and I cannot let this turn into a boxing match. I have to get under his jab, constantly move forward, smartly close the distance, and then win a really rugged inside fight.
And I couldn't agree with him anymore. He knows exactly what he needs to do. He can't stand on the outside. He can't stand in that danger zone. He's got to get inside, land big punches, land those power shots we talked about.
Luis Hernandez also making his BKFC debut with his bout 8-0-1 in his pro boxing career, and he is trained by the great, one of the greatest, in fact, Roy Jones Jr. Hernandez started boxing at age 6. He said, I've also had a lot of street fights. He said, I'm approaching this more as a street fight than as a boxing match. He said, I really, though, haven't changed up my training. He has a lot of belief, a lot of faith in his pure technical boxing skills.
And that could be a huge mistake, actually, I think, if he treats this exactly like a boxing match. I think the first round he's going to figure out this isn't a boxing match. Hopefully he's been watching some in the background and knows that this isn't exactly the same thing. I agree with him. If this is a boxing match, I would pick Hernandez all day. But this isn't boxing, and nobody knows that better than Odb Taylor.
Luis Hernandez told us something very candid, very interesting. He said, in boxing, I'm willing to take risks. He said, I don't know if I'm willing to do that in bare knuckle. He said, I can't really parry shots. I can't block shots. I have to avoid shots. Very smart defense.
That is exactly right. A lot of people think you can until you get in there. One thing he said that really stood out to me, his goal is to not get hit this entire fight. And that's a great goal. That's what I tell people your goal needs to be when you get in there. But in order to do that, you have to be willing to give a shot too. So it's hard to do that if you're not willing to engage. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think he's going to get in there and he's going to decide to mix it up a little bit.
To mark the return of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, we have an offer for you, the fans. That's a great model. Wow, Chris Lights Out Lytle. Go to bareknuckle.tv/shop. Receive right now for tonight only 50% off of all t-shirts, including the Toe the Line shirt that Chris is wearing right there. Again, 50% off all t-shirts right now, tonight only, bareknuckle.tv/shop.
Look at that good-looking guy wearing it, too. What's going on with that?
Back we go now in the greatest segue of the night, perhaps, to Jeff Houston.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are set for the next fight of the night. Scheduled for 5 2-minute rounds in the bare knuckle 155-pound division. Presented to you by 72-Hour Print Custom Fighter Apparel. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the red corner. Tonight he wears black and white. His official weight, 156.1 pounds. He holds a combined combat sports record of 24 professional fights. Fighting out of Tupelo, Mississippi, here is Bobby Odb Taylor. And across the ring, his opponent fighting out of the blue corner. Tonight, he wears solid gold. His official weight, 155.4 pounds. He holds an undefeated boxing record at 8-0 with 1 draw. Fighting out of Forest, Mississippi, here is Luis Hernandez. Hernandez. And our referee in charge of the action, Wayne Spinola.
Chris, in many ways, this reminds me of the style versus style matchup that Art Davie used to put together in the UFC. It would almost say Hernandez boxer, Taylor brawler. Indeed, those are the respective mindsets of these two fighters.
Oh, and they'll readily admit it. There's no in between. That's exactly what we're going to see here.
Both fighters towing the line up to scratch. Round number 1. Gold trunks for Luis Hernandez, black and white trunks for Bobby Taylor. And yes, it is Luis, not Luis Hernandez. That is not my Kansas accent.
And Bobby's doing exactly what he wants to. He's standing right in front of him. He's mirroring his hips. He's not following him. He's mirroring those hips so he cannot let his opponent get away from him.
Not an active clinch. That's the reason for the break by Wayne Spinola. The refereeing is just outstanding consistently in bare knuckle with Spinola, Clancy, and Mergliotta. 3 of the best across all combat sports.
I think Luis is finding out pretty quick this isn't boxing. He's got to be careful because when Bobby closes the distance, it can be a totally different game.
Missing slightly with that rear right uppercut, Bobby Taylor, but you see the peril Hernandez was in, lowering his chin on the inside.
Good jab by Hernandez.
Taylor, the walk down pressure to the inside. Hernandez circling out, now waving Taylor forward. 1 minute remaining, round number 1.
You can tell big right hand. You can tell how comfortable Hernandez is out there.
Hernandez is definitely a slick mover. He's 25 years old, Taylor 42 years old, but age aside, just 2 different styles, 2 different philosophies.
You can tell how Hernandez is so comfortable having those hands down low, very dangerous in bare knuckle.
Taylor, a mouse under his left eye, and that's about to pop. See the head movement of Luis Hernandez. If you knew nothing about him, you just started watching this fight, you would say, yeah, that kid in the gold trunks, he's definitely a boxer. You see the movement, look at the slips. Taylor, though, stepping in, and that is a slip on the ground. Spinola telling Taylor to get up, we fight on.
Bobby
15
Taylor,
seconds.
Bobby Taylor landed a couple really good punches right there. I think he earned his respect a little bit.
Taylor single-mindedly trying to get to the inside. He knows he cannot win this fight from the outside. He told us that very clear-eyed in his fighter meeting. We are through round number 1.
And you can tell just by looking at Bobby Taylor's face, he's losing this fight at this point. He's taking some really clean shots right now. He's got to land those big punches as he's coming inside. He's got to land those overhand punches. He's landed a couple of them right now, but he's got to stay inside. If he stays on the outside, he's going to get eaten alive. Hernandez is too good, too slick. Even though, look at Hernandez's nose. He's taking a punch. He said he wanted to take 0. It's already happening right now. He's already experienced something a little different than I think he's used to in boxing.
Taylor down to round number 1, but ruled a slip by Wayne Spinola. Yep. Incorrectly so.
Yeah, he came in with some heavy punches, overextended, and as they ran into each other, he lost his balance. Good call by the referee.
Sheena Starr, our cut woman, tending to that cut. It was a mouse that then popped under the left eye of Bobby Taylor in round number 1.
Bobby Taylor was just eating too many clean right hands, and that's what that cut is due to. He's got to work on getting inside better without throwing such looping punches. He's got to work his way in and then throw those looping punches. You can't start off with the looping punches.
This is our 4th bout of the night, BKFC 11, just our 2nd round number 2. Both fighters set to come up to scratch. We'll see if Hernandez angles off.
Sheena did a good
step forward.
Sheena did a good job of stopping that cut.
Sheena Starr is phenomenal. Flick jab by Bobby Taylor. Again, you can see him trying to find his way to the inside.
I'd like to see him double that jab up. That's where he wants to be. Use that tie play.
Good push off. That was smart from Hernandez. Back to the center of the ring. This is the space, Chris, that Hernandez told us he wanted.
That's what he needs. That's why I'd like to see Taylor double jabbing his way in, then throwing the overhand right.
Right down the bridge of the nose of Luis Hernandez. It may be the blood of Bobby Taylor.
I don't think it is. See, right now, he's working the body right there. Good job.
Good left hand. Taylor landed that left. Look at that. Yes, that is Hernandez. He's split on the bridge of his nose. It's not Taylor's blood on his face. So both fighters cut here in round 2. Good sequence from Taylor. Landing big shots to the inside.
And right now, you'd like to see Luis get on his bike right now. He's got to start moving a little bit. He's got to start popping that jab. He's got to make Bobby Taylor pay every time he tries to close that distance.
Short overhand right. It was on the ear. That was legal from Bobby Taylor. Now 40 seconds remaining, round number 2.
Bobby Taylor's face is starting to look like a mess over there. I think 2 cuts now.
Good sneaky left hand by Hernandez getting through. Hernandez fighting on his bike off of his back foot. Swinging a miss with the left hand from Taylor, but still the aggressor. There's a parry. You see the slap away of that extended left hand of Hernandez. Smart from Taylor. Sequence again to the inside.
I like when Bobby continues to work his way inside by throwing punches, but I'd like to see him more straight punches, a couple straight jabs, and then throw the big punches after he gets in a little bit.
Final seconds, round number 2, Luis Hernandez versus Bobby Taylor. And for the first time tonight, we will see round number 3.
And Sheena Starr's got her work cut out for her again. I believe he has 2 cuts over his, one over the eye, one under the eye this time.
Get your water, Bobby.
Still to come tonight, our co-main event in the heavyweight division, Dillon Cleckler versus Frank Tate. And then our main event, the winner becomes the first ever BKFC 155-pound world titleist, Luis Palomino versus Isaac Vallie-Flagg.
Both guys cut open here, both guys bleeding. You can tell every time that Luis Hernandez lands that right hand, it does damage. It cuts him open a little bit more each time.
How you feel?
There's another good punch right there by Bobby Taylor, landing some good punches on the inside. He needs to close that distance even better. Good counter punching by Hernandez. You can tell the boxing pedigree right there. Very slick with what he does. He knows distance. And here's Taylor's face, bad cut over the left eye and a huge mouse underneath the left eye.
And again, that mouse, Chris, popped, leaking blood from round number 1. So 1 cut over the left eye of Bobby Taylor, 1 cut under the left eye of Bobby Taylor. Just through 2 rounds, 4 minutes, you can see why Hernandez is undefeated as a pro boxer. But again, this is not pro boxing.
He still looks very slick, but he's got to be careful. He continues to get caught with big punches as he gets rushed in on.
Round number 3. Relatively muted start from both men off of the scratch line. There's the aggression from Bobby Taylor. Now this is exactly the fight that he wants. Big uppercut!
Needs to keep it inside. Exactly his game plan to be to keep it inside. Luis cannot get caught in a gunfight right there. He needs a jab, move, get ready to hit that 2. There it is with that left hand.
Check left hook from Bobby Taylor. Very effective punch. 90 seconds remaining, round number 3.
And Bobby Taylor's just straight stalker mode right now.
Hernandez tying up. No attempt whatsoever to fight from the clinch for Luis Hernandez. He just wanted Spinola to separate them, and indeed he did.
He's getting blood in his eye right now. He's not comfortable with it at all.
Can you see just no work in the clinch, no throwing of punches from Hernandez.
Well, that's what we talked about earlier. He come in here like this is a boxing match. This is not. This is a brawl right now.
Bare knuckle is not boxing, it's not MMA, it's its own unique combat sport, which has evolved very quickly since we began in the modern era with BKFC 1, June 2nd, 2018. Good left hand from Bobby Taylor. Taylor having a very strong round. But that eye is troubling for Taylor. Again, you see the cut under the left, over the left eye. Straight right hand, good left hand. That's troubling for Hernandez.
Hernandez just looks like he does not know how to deal with this pressure right now. He doesn't know how to deal with the clinch. He's trying to do his boxing, but it's not working.
25 seconds remaining, round 3. Taylor at 5'8" to Hernandez's 5'11", but he's dipping his front shoulder. He's making himself smaller, Chris, on purpose to get to the inside.
Hernandez is not able to fire those counters like he was earlier. That's where he was doing so much damage when that counter right hand. He's not throwing it anymore.
Right hand just misses from Bobby Taylor. Still stalking Luis Hernandez. And here comes round 4.
And Hernandez has a cut over the right eye now. And on the nose.
And bleeding from both nostrils.
He doesn't, you can tell it's affected him too. Some people can get a cut, like when you look at Bobby Taylor, he doesn't even know he's cut. I mean, he knows, but it doesn't faze him at all. Luis Hernandez keeps rubbing, he keeps looking away from him. He just doesn't like the fact that his face is cut and the blood is running into his eye.
He's off the ring more. You're back against that ring, and that's when he's starting to lay into you, okay? Look, and when you do get the center, you need to be active, okay? I don't know if you had that round or not, okay? You hear me? So what do we need to do? Yeah, win. We need to circle off the ring. Don't get your back on the ropes no more.
Okay. Dirty box more. You tearing this body up, come to the same side, up the middle, okay? Much better round. You're getting better as the rounds go. So keep that same pace, okay?
You do. Better looking for them, sir.
Yeah. All right. Good work. Give me that water.
You look beautiful.
That's some great advice by both cornermen, I think, right there is exactly what they want here. And one thing that really impressed me right there is Bobby Taylor's kind of laughing and making jokes in there. So he's very comfortable. He's liking the way this fight's going right now. It's turning into his favor. Hernandez didn't say a word.
From the scratch line, round number 4. Hernandez trying to establish the jab. Taylor, to the surprise of no one, including Hernandez, back to the inside.
And Hernandez's corner was telling him he's got to be active when he's in the middle. He's got to make sure that Bobby Taylor doesn't push him backwards. And the only way to do that is by being active out here. That movement is a good key right there. Moving as you're sticking.
Good left hand to the body. Rear uppercut just misses from Taylor.
Taylor's got that great stalking pressure. He's able to cut off the ring just by getting in front of the guy, mirroring his hips.
Hernandez, you see, just sticking out the jab, range-findering the jab. So effective in boxing. We really haven't seen it that effective thus far in bare knuckle. Good inside pressure from Taylor.
He was literally chasing him across the ring right there.
Hernandez has definitely switched up his stance. Sticking out the left hand, loading up the right hand. Was not dipping his shoulder, Chris, in rounds 1 and 2 like he is here in rounds 3 and 4. Good right hand. Difficult angle from Taylor, and he landed.
Hernandez with his hands very low right now. He has a lot of belief in his ability to counterpunch. He needs to do more of that if he's going to win this fight.
There's that rear right uppercut again from Bobby Taylor. Taylor told us, I've got to get under the jab of Hernandez, keep moving forward, smartly close the distance. Good body shot by Hernandez. It's his most significant punch of round 4. But back to the inside comes Bobby Taylor. Quick separation, now 10 seconds remaining, round number 4. Bouncing the step of Luis Hernandez, very much off of his back foot. Taylor on the inside, and we are headed to the 5th and final round.
Another good round right there.
Face him again. All right, what's up? Yeah, go. Look, listen, you're doing a lot better that round. Listen, I need to keep firing the jab. You do better staying off the ropes.
In the back.
You did better and staying off the ropes that round, all right? So look.
Tell me his round.
He's good. He's good. He's good. Look, after
I'm telling you, you're getting stronger as the round goes. Just keep that same energy, okay?
I promise you, if you win this round, you win the fight.
Look, we're gonna try to finish him. I think we can finish him in the clinch though.
Deep breath.
Okay? Once we in the clinch.
Good, pat my damn arms up. He's been working on that.
Look, he tie your arms up. You squat and come up. Squat and come up. Okay? Get the stool, get the stool. Get the stool.
Once again, very good corner work done, especially by Bobby Taylor's where they're telling when he's on the inside, drop down when he ties you up and try and come back with some punches. Don't just let him tie you up.
Nice moment of sportsmanship between Luis Hernandez and Bobby Taylor. Maximum of 2 minutes remaining. 5th and final round. Chris, go back to what Luis Hernandez told us in our fighter meeting with him. He said, I'm willing to take risks in boxing. I don't know that I'm willing to do that in bare knuckle. This might be the stage of the fight where he has to take some risks now.
If he wants to win this fight, I think this might be tied at 2. Oh, and there is coming with that big right hand again, what he hasn't done for the last 2 rounds.
Get a reminder, download the all-new BKFC TV app right now. Good right hand from Taylor.
Good comeback, too, by Hernandez. That was a great flurry right there. That's what both guys need.
Limited risk and high reward for Luis Hernandez, who was a slick turn and letting the hands go. Back to the center of the ring. There's that rear right uppercut. That's been a really effective punch for Taylor. Both men cut, both men bleeding. Both men have definitely had their moments.
I think you can tell the mistake that Hernandez made by not treating this like a bare knuckle fight and treating it like a boxing match. On the inside, on the clinch, he's getting torn up.
Big uppercuts. Taylor again to the inside to spin out the separation. Taylor keeps pawing at the cut on the bridge of his nose that opened in round 2. There's the step in right hand by Bobby Taylor. 40 seconds remaining, 5th and final round.
Oh, big right hand.
Hands very low, though, for Luis Hernandez. Think about his striking guard in rounds 1 and 2. Down the stretch we come. The fighter's bloodied, battered, seemingly tired, but still looking for more significant shots. Right to the body from Taylor. Hernandez circling out, pulling it back to the center of the ring.
Seems like Hernandez is just happy to not get hit anymore and not even really looking to engage the throw punches. He just wants to make sure he doesn't take any more damage this fight.
Hernandez angling out, right hand, top of the head. More big shots from Bobby Taylor. Looking to close strong, and he does. 5 rounds up, 5 rounds down. Next stop, the tallying of the 3 Mississippi judges' scorecards.
Man, that was a good fight.
Really fun fight.
Let's see, at the end there, I believe that Hernandez took off most of the last part of the fight. Let's see if that's the difference, because Bobby Taylor came forward the entire time and put the pressure on. The thing I've noticed about in a close fight, usually the guy putting on the pressure is the guy who comes out with the victory.
Hernandez started strong. Taylor, it took time for him to solve that range, that reach, that really good technical jab of Luis Hernandez. I thought Taylor really turned this fight for him in round number 3.
And you can see that he had 3 big cuts on over his left eye and under the eye right there. So if he got the victory, he definitely paid the price for it. Let's take a look back at round 5. Bobby with big punches, big overhand rights. Good flurry came back by Hernandez. That was some of his best work done right there. Taylor doing what he does best, staying inside, making this a dirty fight. Hernandez obviously wants nothing to do with this. He wants to turn this back into a boxing match.
3 judges, signed by the Mississippi Athletic Commission, headed by the outstanding John Lewis, scoring on the 10-point must system. No knockdowns, remember. Taylor was down around number 1, but ruled correctly as a slip. We shall see, Chris. But you made a great point, is that in close rounds, judges often will look at who is the aggressor, who is applying the forward pressure.
That was always one of my game plans, is always push forward, because in a close fight, you're probably going to get the nod.
On that metrics, I think rounds 3, 4, and 5 go to Bobby Taylor.
I agree. I mean, I wouldn't be too terribly surprised to see a split decision, but I think you're right there. I think he's probably going to get the nod.
Count them 3 cuts on the left side of Bobby Taylor's face, 2 over the left eye, 1 under the left eye. The one under the left eye was the mouse that popped in round number 1. It was really never a big factor.
Well, that was where Hernandez was able to counter with some very good right hands and then right to that left side of his face. But he kind of went away from that after the 2nd round. That's why there was nothing else with that mouse. It could have busted, but he hit him over the top of the eye a couple times, and you can see the cuts.
Hernandez got the bridge of his nose split in round number 2. You see that cut over his right eye.
Yeah, great cut work done by both sides. I mean, those could have been real difference maker in the fight, but they stopped the bleeding. They stopped it from getting anybody's eye. The fight continued, and I'm glad it was a great fight.
Luis Hernandez said, I think Bobby Taylor wants to fight from the pocket. That was a good assessment of a game plan coming in by his opponent, because that's exactly what Taylor wanted to do.
You know, that's the kind of fight I love to watch here in BKFC. You get that kind of action, both guys trying to implement their will. Bobby just pressing forward, Hernandez trying to be slick as could be. That was a great fight.
Jeff Houston is now entering the BKFC ring. The 3 Mississippi judges' scorecards have been tallied.
That's when he's pressured hard.
While we await the reading of the scorecards from Jeff Houston, again, we want to tell you about the all-new Bare Knuckle app. Chris, this is something we are really excited about. You can download it now at bkTVapp.com. Full library of our past BKFC events, fighter interviews, and more. Time now to end all suspense with Jeff Houston.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we go to the decision, let's have a round of applause for these two warriors. After completing the scheduled 5 rounds, our judges send into the ring a split decision. Scott Michael scores the fight 49-46 in favor of Taylor. Bill Clancy sees the fight 48-47 in favor of Hernandez. And J.D. Dees scores the bout 48-47 to the winner by split decision. Bobby Odb Taylor.
Chris, what I really think that fight came down to with Bobby Taylor claiming the split decision over Luis Hernandez, Hernandez just simply never threw from the clinch.
Yeah, and that pressure that Bobby Taylor was able to put on was really a difference maker too, but we talked about that at the beginning. Coming into this, thinking this is a boxing match was a huge mistake. You have to work on the clinch. That's the difference in this sport, and he didn't do that, and I think he paid the ultimate price because of it. He lost the decision.
Bobby Taylor, 18 years older and 3 inches shorter than his opponent, Luis Hernandez. At age 42, Chris, he wins his BKFC debut in really intelligent and hard-working fashion.
Oh, that was just a workman-like performance he put on. He did the hard work, he pushed forward, even when he had to take a punch to do it. Have you noticed the 2 fights we had here with the guys who had a big reach advantage? Both guys lost. I told you it's not just about the reach advantage. That is an advantage, but you have to use it like an advantage.
Will Chope going down to Joe Elmore, and now in this 155-pound bout, Bobby Taylor defeating Luis Hernandez. He is the winner by way of split decision. We're at the halfway line of tonight's BKFC 11 card from Oxford, Mississippi. Still to come, it is our main event of the evening.
And I can't, keep going over this enough because I cannot wait for this fight. This is going to be a great fight between 2 warriors. Neither one of these guys ever gets hurt. I can't wait to see this one.
Luis Palomino versus Isaac Vallie-Flagg. And in our co-main event of the evening, set for the heavyweight division, Dillon Cleckler versus Frank Tate.
Who doesn't like the big fellas? 2 guys who can end the fight with 1 punch. You can see right here, huge power with both guys. Somebody's gonna get knocked out in this fight. I would have to predict that, and I can't wait to see it.
Both fighters very accomplished in MMA, both making their BKFC debuts tonight, wanting to do so in style. Well, it's available now. You can download the all-new Bare Knuckle TV app right now at bkTVapp.com. Remember, it is our full library of past BKFC events, as well as fighter interviews, behind-the-scenes content, and more. Outstanding card as Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship returns, and we continue on with a bout in the heavyweight division, Codie Shuffield versus Herbert Morgan.
Okay, and the thing about this one is there's not much of a difference between these 2 gentlemen. Neither one have any experience. The same exact height, pretty much the same weight. You really don't have anything to go on this one. Only thing you know is Codie Shuffield had a little bit more notice, so we'll see if that makes a difference.
Herbert Morgan, 11 pro MMA bouts, says his best attribute as a fighter is that he is extremely durable. He said, I'm one of those guys who loves to get hit. It wakes me up. It makes me really enter a fight. To that I say, be careful what you wish for.
I always worry when people tell me that. I love to get hit. Well, this isn't a sport for you usually, because you get one hit, you're probably going to get cut open. So I would be very careful going with that strategy. I do like the idea. I'm going to go out there and do whatever it takes to win, but you don't need to take punches like that.
This is a very emotional bout for Herbert Morgan. His sister Katie Collins, an outstanding MMA fighter, was in both Bellator and LFA. She tragically passed away last year at age 32 from a brain aneurysm. Morgan told us, again, very emotionally, he said, I was done with fighting to honor my late sister, Katie Collins. That's why I am back, and I have a lot to prove in this bout.
And you can never discount the emotional element and what that can bring to a fighter. I remember when Buster Douglas went out there and knocked out Mike Tyson. It was after his mother died, and you know, the stars just lined up right, and that really made the difference and really pushed him forward in that fight. Huge upset.
Codie Shuffield, extremely popular as he hails from nearby Water Valley, Mississippi. You hear the ovation from the socially distanced Oxford, Mississippi crowd. Shuffield 9-0 in his pro boxing career, 8-3 in his pro MMA career, including one bout in Bellator, which I commentated. That was on the undercard of the Rampage Jackson King Mo Lawal pay-per-view in 2014.
So he does have some huge fight experience. That makes a difference. You get in there in that big element, all the lights, all the cameras, everything. He's had that before. That's huge.
Shuffield started kickboxing at age 7. His dad, Steve Shuffield, who was in his corner tonight, was his trainer. He's still his trainer. Now as Shuffield is age 30. Steve Shuffield, a 17-2 pro kickboxing record. Shuffield said, I learned this from my dad. I'm going to honor my dad in this fight. To mark the return of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, we have a special deal for you. Just like Anthony Rumble Johnson, you too can be the proud owner of a Bare Knuckle t-shirt right now. Go to bareknuckle.tv/shop and receive a 50% discount. That offer is only through tonight. Look at these models. First Chris Lights Out Lytle, now Rumble. Anthony Johnson, you can also get a face mask. But remember, the t-shirts right now, tonight only, 50% off, bareknuckle.tv/shop. To get this heavyweight bout started, back to the BKFC ring with Jeff Houston.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are set for the next fight of the night. Scheduled for 5 2-minute rounds in the bare knuckle heavyweight division. Presented to you by Germ Wipes Antibacterial Wet Wipes. Visit them online at germ-wipes.com. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the red corner. Tonight he wears black and gray. His official weight, 225.1 pounds. He is an MMA veteran of 11 professional fights. Fighting out of Mark Tree, Arkansas. Here is Herbert, Coach Killa Morgan. And across the ring, his opponent fighting out of the blue corner. Tonight he wears black and gray. His official weight, 217.8 pounds. His MMA record stands at 9 victories, opposite 3 defeats. Fighting out of Water Valley, Mississippi. Here is Codie Shuffield. And our referee in charge of the action, Bill Clancy.
In 2008, when he was a 17-year-old high school senior, Codie Shuffield defeated Greg Hardy in a charity exhibition boxing match. Hardy at that time was a star defensive end for the University of Mississippi. Now 12 years later, Shuffield in his home state trying to win his BKFC debut.
And that tells me a lot about him as a fighter. He's willing to take some huge challenges against all odds. A high school kid fighting Greg Hardy.
Round number 1. Black and gray trunks for Codie Shuffield. Solid black trunks for Herbert Morgan. See, trying to parry with the right hand is Herbert Morgan early. Stepping to the inside. Right hand to the body goes Codie Shuffield. More right hands to the body.
Good body work being done by both guys right now.
Those are big shots on the clinch landed by Shuffield.
And the referee letting them go because as long as they are throwing punches in there.
Separation from Bill Clancy. He saw the punches, just not enough action, too much holding, and right back in comes Codie Shuffield. Shuffield told us, I'm a quote-unquote technical brawler. This is the technical brawling he wanted to implement.
Stop, you stop.
Right back to the inside on the rear uppercut, and now Morgan in all sorts of trouble. Takes the 360-degree turn. You see those punches from the clinch, Chris.
I'd like to see Sheffield stay on the outside because every time he's throwing punches, Morgan just covering up, just like that.
That right uppercut got through.
You can continue to throw punches as he's covering up right there, but instead Sheffield keeps pushing into him.
Well, Clancy very quick to break on the clinch.
Well, they're not doing enough work like he wants, I don't think.
No punch, stop. I said stop. It's gonna cost you a point. You don't listen. You understand me?
Referee speak. That is called a hard warning from Bill Clancy delivered to Herbert Morgan. Sheffield right back to the inside. Morgan told us I want to keep throwing flurries, but he cannot do so when Sheffield is taking away time and space.
Well, I would like to see Sheffield stand back a little bit. He can land clean punches. He's not risking anything. Morgan's just sitting there with his hands up.
Big exhale from Herbert Morgan. Final seconds, round number 1. It's been all offense from Codie Shuffield, and we will go to round 2.
I'd like to hear what the corner has to say for Sheffield.
Hey, everything looks good. Hey, if you can shoulder off of him, we get the right hand open every single time, okay? Deep breaths, relax.
Bill Clancy just saying to Codie Shuffield, I don't want to take points, but you need to break when I say break.
Hey, your right hand is working. Let's keep working that. So especially how you shoulder off of that left shoulder. Let's go back to the right hand up top, okay? Look good. Relax, breathe deep, deep breaths.
A little bit of a replay coming up. Throwing that right hand to the body several times. Those might not seem like super powerful punches, but they certainly hurt with a bare knuckle. And several right punches. I'm saying they're not knockout punches, but they're definitely adding up.
Call of knuckle up from Clancy, round number 2. Backing off of the scratch line as Herbert Morgan misses with that right hand. Morgan resetting his feet. There's the long extended jab from Sheffield. Those are big shots. That right hand lands flush, and again Herbert Morgan finds himself in all sorts of trouble against the ropes.
Stop!
And a reminder, download the all-new BKFC TV app. Time called by Clancy.
Low blow right there. Once again, I would like to see Sheffield. He's doing great on the outside, but once he lands a good punch, he's smothering himself. It's going to be hard to land a good punch as you're smothering yourself.
Herbert Morgan now has up to 5 minutes to recover. Time called here in round 2.
It looks like that was kind of just in the heat of battle right there. They don't think it was anything nefarious. They're not taking a point away or anything. They're just letting him give him his 5 minutes break if he needs it or however long he needs, and then the fight will resume. Really hard to see it from our angle right there. Bill Clancy had a much better view of it though.
Chris, you know I've done a lot, and I mean a lot, of MMA commentary in Russia. When that happens in Russia, and I don't know why, they lay the fighter on their back who's taking the groin shot, and then they pound the bottoms of their feet. I never understood that. I'm glad we don't have that here in North America.
Maybe it's a punishment, I don't know.
Time in, round number 2 resumes, and Sheffield right back to the inside. More big right hands against the ropes.
And once again, I don't know why Codie continues to go inside. He's getting warned all the time to quit punching on the inside when they're just holding. He says, when I say break, break. If he stays on the outside, he wins the fight.
Sheffield continuing to land big. Morgan really just playing all defense right now. Played mostly defense in round number 1. 40 seconds remaining in this second round.
Morgan looks exhausted already.
Left hand, right hand. One-way traffic continuing for Codie Shuffield. Trying to finish here in round 2. That left hand gets see the grimace on the face of Morgan.
Wait, no punch, step back.
He's about done. I
And
think this
that is
fight's
it.
over.
Herbert Morgan shows that he does not want to continue.
You could just tell for the last 30 seconds the exhaustion. He wasn't offered any defense. He wasn't trying to fight back. He was just sitting there taking punishment.
In boxing, that's called a physical surrender. In MMA, that would be a verbal submission. Herbert Morgan, with his body language, essentially submitting, saying he is done, and the win for Codie Shuffield.
Yeah, when the referee tells you to step forward and you just bend over, that is pretty much like a verbal tap out, just what you said. He didn't have to say anything. Just repeated punches being thrown right there. He looked like he was almost trying to tap out. Continuing to take punches. He's just kind of holding on. You can tell he wanted out of the fight. And as the referee breaks him, look at that grimace of pain in his face.
Herbert Morgan is a really tough guy. He's a really likable guy. He told us with a smile on his face, I love to get hit, I love to trade punches. He just simply did not have an answer from that onslaught from the really talented Codie Shuffield. 9-0 in pro boxing and now 1-0 in BKFC.
You know, when Sheffield just kept taking away space, I don't think that he really exactly knew what to do with it, did Herbert Morgan. He just kind of absorbed the punches and had to tap out eventually pretty much.
Good job, man. Good job. It takes a lot of guts to do this shit, baby. I know.
Bill Clancy just said it well. Here's Jeff Houston.
Ladies and gentlemen, our referee in charge, Bill Clancy, calls a stop to the fight at 1 minute 30 seconds into round number 2 for your winner by TKO, Codie Shuffield.
Biggest ovation of the night thus far goes to Codie Shuffield in his home state of Mississippi. That was a first-class performance from a really talented fighter in Codie Shuffield.
Yeah, I'd like to see him fight for us again. Hopefully he enjoyed himself and had a good time, and it's something he'd like to continue with.
From Greg Hardy as a 17-year-old to Herbert Morgan as a 30-year-old, Codie Shuffield, Chris, just keeps on rolling.
Yeah, look at this good work on the inside. I hope he comes back and watches and decides, hey, if I would have stepped back, I would have finished this in the first round, but all this is a learning process. It was his first bare knuckle fight, and I think he did great.
The winner by way of second round TKO, Codie Shuffield defeats Herbert Morgan.
All right, gentlemen, to the line. Buckle up.
Your exclusive Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship merchandise is now here. Just like Johnny Bedford, you can have your very own BKFC t-shirt. Go online right now to bareknuckle.tv/shop. And tonight only, to welcome back Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, receive a 50% discount on all t-shirts. Again, that's bareknuckle.tv/shop for a 50% discount tonight only on all t-shirts. Our feature bout of the evening, 165 pounds. You see the numbers, Kaleb Harris versus Elvin Brito.
And I know I feel kind of silly even saying this right now, but the big difference here is the height and the reach. The advantage being to Kaleb Harris. However, the two fights previous where that's been the case, the guy with the reach has lost. So let's see if Kaleb Harris can do something a little bit different. If he can establish that jab, if he can keep Elvin Brito away from when he's trying to come in and making him pay every time. That's what it's going to take to make that reach advantage be the advantage that it should be.
Elvin Brito, making his 4th appearance in Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, has also had 17 pro bouts in MMA, 46 amateur boxing bouts, When he was an amateur fighter, he trained under Roy Jones Sr. So RJJ, Roy Jones Jr., the trainer, although not in attendance tonight, of Luis Hernandez, who we saw earlier on the card. Roy Jones Sr. also not in attendance. Brito no longer works with Roy Jones Sr., but he was instrumental in him getting to the sport of boxing. Brito, still at age 34, gives Roy Jones Sr. a lot of credit for what he did for him when he was a very young fighter.
Brito had a lot of confidence coming into this fight. He seems like this is his 4th fight. He's settled in. If you look at who he's fought some of the best guys we have in the division. He's fought Allerson, he's fought Palomino. I think he has big fight experience, and he's utilized that to give him the confidence that he needs right now to come in. And I love this fight because both guys are very, very, very confident that they're both going to come out with a victory. I think they both think they're going to get a knockout. So
no question about that. Both extremely confident coming in. In our fighter meeting, Brito said through 3 bare knuckle fighting championship bouts, what I have learned is that success in this sport is directly linked to aggression.
We've talked about that, you know, in exhaustion. Whoever cuts off first, whoever's the most active fighter tends to win. He said he felt great his last fight. He didn't take much damage, but he felt like he was almost too defensive, too one-dimensional. He was just working on being slick. And the one thing that you realize is you don't win a lot of fights by not getting hit. You have to hit the other guy.
These are 2 very likable, very respectful fighters. You see Kaleb Harris now walking towards the BKFC ring. This is his 5th bout in bare knuckle fighting championship. 3-1 stands his pro MMA record, but he really feels that he has found his sport, found his home in bare knuckle fighting championship. He said, what I have learned through 4 bare knuckle bouts is that in training, I have to be able to push the pace more, translate that into my bouts. He said, I always have to be the aggressor.
And I think he learned that when he had the KO of the year over Vistante. Beautiful punch. He just came in behind the jab, threw a clean right punch, clean right hand, landed right on the button, and that was the end of the night. And it's all over highlight reels. It was one of the greatest knockouts you're going to see. When a guy doesn't put his hands down and goes face first, that's what you want to see, and it's a great feeling to have as a fighter. He's experienced that. He's going to try and utilize his movement. He's going to try and stay on the outside. He's going to try and catch Brito coming in and catch him with that big right hand.
Chris, Kaleb Harris told us, I think Brito is going to start hard. I think he's going to try to overwhelm me. But then I think he's going to transition into movement. He's going to slip a lot, feint a lot, and try to be the counter puncher.
And he wants to get Brito backing up. He wants to catch him on his heels, and that's when he can land those big punches. When he's moving, it's going to be difficult. He's got to catch him coming in and slow him down, land that big punch.
To get this really intriguing bout started, Jeff Houston.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get excited for our next fight of the night. Scheduled for 5 2-minute rounds in the bare knuckle 165-pound division. Presented to you by Fusion CBD. For fast muscle recovery, choose Fusion CBD products. Introducing you first, fighting out of the red corner. Tonight he wears white and black. His official weight, 165.3 pounds. His bare knuckle record stands at 1 victory opposite 2 defeats. Fighting out of Maunabo, Puerto Rico, here is Elvin Leon, El Bandido Brito. And across the ring, his opponent fighting out of the blue corner. Tonight, he wears black. His official weight, 165 pounds. His bare knuckle record stands at 2 victories opposite 2 defeats. Here is the BKFC 2019 KO of the Year award winner, fighting out of Lake Mississippi. Here is Kaleb Lionheart. And our referee in charge of the action, Big Dan Mergliata.
Elvin Brito said, I think Kaleb Harris wants to make this an ugly fight. I want to make this a technical fight. Both fighters up to scratch. See the nervous energy from Brito rocking back and forth. Round number 1. Black trunks for Kaleb Harris, white trunks for Elvin Brito.
Kaleb just stalking him right now, trying to stay in front.
Right hand didn't fully get through from Brito, back to the outside. Hands high discipline from Harris, much looser are the hands of Brito. Brito missing with the entry left hook. Left to the body, not there from Brito. Good creative shot nonetheless. First, we see the head movement of Kaleb Harris. That's relatively new in his arsenal. Spun 360.
I really like that. That's where you can come up with a big Patterson hook or just throwing your opponent off. Head movement, head movement.
And not there from Brito. Just misses from Elvin. Brito, you see trying to explode into the pocket, right back out. Meets the left hand as Kaleb Harris on the entry, undaunted, right to the body. Brito, surprisingly, his mouth is wide open. It's very humid in this building here in Oxford, Mississippi. Brito's such a disciplined and experienced fighter. I'm surprised his mouth is open.
Well, it looked like he did have a lot of nervous energy going out. One thing that was surprising me just how calm Kaleb Harris was. He looked like he wasn't even getting ready to fight.
Kaleb Harris told us before his bare knuckle fighting championship debut, he had never in any situation been punched in the face with a bare fist.
You could tell when we talked to him yesterday, though, how relaxed he seems. He thinks he's really coming into his own here. He feels like this is a sport for him, and he's more relaxed, more confident than ever. It shows out there right now.
Overhand left from Brito. He's definitely trying to push the pace. Brito landing effective counters. 15 seconds remaining, round number 1. Good left uppercut didn't get through. Harris missing with the right hand. There's the right hand right back from Brito. Didn't fully land.
It's a good right hand lead, though.
Closing stages, round number 1. Two really talented and experienced BKFC fighters as we head to round 2.
Face this way, Kaleb. Listen to me. When he comes in, that little sporadic little upper hook thing he does, well, we got a bag leaking, bro. We got a bag leaking. You're leaking. When he does that little sporadic little thing he comes in, why don't you throw an upper? Jab, jab, upper, okay? Really? You need any more water?
No hay más nada. Lo estás haciendo perfecto. Sí, sí. Sí, entró fuerte. Sí, sí. Duro. Sí, duro. Y el gancho, si lo tira más adentro, lo vas a coger. Y el Herbert también. Sí. Ok. Yeah. Sí. Vamos arriba, ok? La misma combinación inteligente.
Set for round number 2.
I really liked what I heard from Harris's corner. All I could really understand from Brito's is yes. They kept saying see, so that's all I got out of that one. I'm sorry.
I heard look. My Portuguese is better than my Spanish. Get a reminder, download the all-new BKFC app, bareknuckle.tv.
Brito's doing a good job of countering. Every time that Kaleb Harris throws a punch, Brito's coming back with a big right hand.
There's the good left hand from Brito. Harris on the overhand right. Counter left hand from Brito. Harris, though, not off of his striking line. Ate that punch, walked through it. Chris, continual stalking pressure. Early days yet, but thus far from Kaleb Harris.
He is doing a good job of stalking. However, Brito's doing a great job of wait till he comes in and then throwing big punches at him. He's letting Kaleb Harris do the hard work. He's coming in and making Brito not have to come forward and land those punches. Big left hand.
Harris told us, I want to take this fight to the ropes. That's where he's not taking this fight, at least not yet.
Well, Brito's doing a good job of moving. He's standing on his bike. He's cutting angle. He's moving left. He's moving right.
Now against the ropes. This is exactly where Harris wants to be.
Absolutely.
Big shots from the clinch. You see the half tie plum, also called a single collar tie, being held. Good right hand. Overhand right from Brito. That's an effective punch from that position.
Absolutely. I think that's got to be Harris's game plan right now. He's got to slow Brito down. He's got to push him into the ropes like that, land some body punches. As this fight goes on, I think his best chance is to get him tired, not moving so much. When Brito moving, he's hard to hit.
Left hand from Brito, not there. Two-punch combination right back out. Feint from Kaleb Harris. Good right to the body. Harris landed that flush. Now 10 seconds remaining, round number 2. Plum now being held by Brito with his back against the ring ropes. Separation from Dan Mergliotta. We are headed to round 3.
Brito's doing a good job, like I keep saying, about moving when he's on the inside. He's cutting angles. Only the few times that he gets pushed up against the ropes is the only time I think he's in trouble.
Siga el cuerpo. Coge aire. Coge aire.
Here's those good counter punches he's doing. He's letting Kaleb Harris close the gap for him, bringing him in close where he can land those big punches. Good strategy being utilized by Brito right now. And this right here is where Kaleb Harris is doing his best work, staying on the inside. He's got to wear him down and slow him down if he wants to win this fight.
Jab. Stop just reaching with the jab. Every punch is slung, okay? We're not doing anything but reaching with that, okay? Let's come back over the top with overhand. Sling that freaking jab. Keep him at your range. Okay? Good footwork. Don't get on that side with him. We're not looking to brawl tonight, all right? Look good, look good.
Si puedes tirar un volado, vamos arriba, tiramos un volado.
One thing I really liked about what Kaleb Harris's corner was telling him is quit pawing that jab. When you punch, make sure it's out there to her. He needs to step with that jab, not just put it out there, because that lets Brito get around it and come with a counter punch.
My friend John Brown, fellow Kansas City, trainer of the late, great Tommy Morrison, always said, everything off of the one, throw that jab hard, throw it with purpose.
I've always been a firm believer. Every time you throw a punch, you want it to hurt. Put yourself at risk every time you punch. You might as well try and hurt the person.
Feint with Kaleb Harris with the left hand. More measured from Kaleb Harris. Brito again, mouth fairly open. This is with that left hand. 65 seconds remaining, round number 3.
Brito's hands look very crisp right now. He looks like wherever he sees an opening, his hands are just going right there, flowing very naturally.
Overhand right gets through from Brito. That was clever, and again, Harris is where he wants to be. Inside with Brito's back against the ring ropes. Against the corner cushion. Good slick movement by Brito. So subtle on that turn, Chris. Nice footwork. This is with the overhand right. Now the clinch. You see locking the hands. Bergliata immediately breaking the 2. Overhand right on the entry from Harris, misses. To the body, dipping under. Brito showing a lot of creativity thus far in this fight.
Absolutely, having the hands down at his waist, but his head movement is so good. His hands are flowing exactly where he wants them. He's on his A game right now.
Closing stages, round number 3. 5 seconds remaining in this round. In the deeper waters of this fight, there is the bell. Up next, round 4.
At the end of that round, Brito threw his hands up in there. He's very pleased with himself right now. He's loving the way this fight is going. I don't think he feels like he's taking any damage. His face looks good right now. He just got to make sure he doesn't slow down, because 1 second, Harris could knock him out. Some good body work right there being done by Harris, but that's really the only place he's been able to land many punches right now. Continuing to work that body, he needs to do a little bit more of that to wear him down. That's where he needs to stay probably for the next round, then really look to go for the knockout in the 5th round, I would say.
Chris, as we see the replay on the half tie plum, you and I were talking about this privately the other day. Brito holding lower on the neck, but of course on a tie plum, whether it's half or full, you want to go much more on the head.
Otherwise, you're just holding on. You're not gonna. You got to cup that head and get it down so you can land that uppercut.
See both fighters towing the line. And Bergliata calls knuckle up, round 4. Snap jab from Brito. The fighter's face is relatively clean through the opening 3 rounds in 6 minutes. Left hook from Harris. This is with the right hand. Harris a little more aggression here in round number 4.
I think he sees a sense of urgency. He's got to push the pace right now. He's got to wear his opponent down to land that big punch. He knows it's in his arsenal. He knows he has it. He's won that knockout the year before.
Slip step from Harris. Trying to change the angle. There's the right hand over the top from Brito. Harris again to the inside, but the counter from Elvin Brito with the right hand.
Tell me, this is the best I've ever seen Elvin Brito look. He's very slick right now. His head movement's great.
Good jab on the entry from Harris with the left hand. "60 seconds remaining, round 4. Nice on the back pedal from Brito.
Brito's got a he keeps putting his hands wide open. He's putting him down at his waist, almost going back to like the 1800 stance sometimes.
It was certainly effective in the 1800s. You don't see it a lot.
If there's a guy who's going to do it, it's going to be Brito, though.
Still waiting for that Archie Moore, George Foreman cross-arm guard. We've not yet seen that in bare knuckle.
Brito, he's very creative with his punches right now, coming from very odd angles. I don't think Harris is used to those.
Overhand right, the counter on the uppercut from Harris. Back to the inside. Brito looking for the separation, and he gets it, but Harris landing to the body with the right hand. Now 10 seconds remaining, round number 4. Slight swelling under the left eye of Kaleb Harris. Good left hand by Elvin Brito. Misses with the overhand right, circles out. To the 5th and final round we go. Reminder, up next, it is our co-main event of the evening in the heavyweight division. Dillon Cleckler versus Frank Tate. And then it's our main event. The winner becomes the first ever BKFC 155-pound world titleist. Luis Palomino versus Isaac Vallie-Flagg.
Right here, this last round, baby. Empty the freaking tank. You're landing. We just need you to land consistently, okay? You understand what I'm saying? Control your heart rate. Slow the heart rate down. Hold it in for a second. Give me a good hold in a second. You know what to do. You know how to win this fight. Keep the jab active. You're great. Okay? Keep the jabs rolling. Look, that right hand to the body's landed. When it lands, his left hand's down here. So guess what we need to do this round? Overhand. We need to go up top with it.
Couple good punches land by Brito. Good overhand right with a counter. Another good overhand right with a counter. Doing a very good job of countering.
5th and final round. Brito slide stepping off of this scratch line. Harris coming forward. Harris putting out the jab. Brito, Chris, has really been effective with his counters and his movement thus far in this fight.
I know he spoke about it, I know he talked about it, but he's actually implementing. That's much harder to do against a good quality opponent like Kaleb Harris.
Harris talked a lot to us about cutting off the movement of Brito. It's a great strategy. Harris has done well at times, but Brito is a really first-class mover.
I think the problem is when Harris gets there, he's just standing still. He's just flicking that jab like his corner told him, make it count. So he needs to really push the pace and push him backwards with that jab and land his big punch or push him out of the ropes.
Nobody has won anything yet with 70 seconds remaining in this fight. Right hand to the body from Kaleb Harris. Both fighters certainly sensing the moment, sensing the urgency. Left hand from Brito. Right did not fully get through. Brito now trying to pull Harris back into the center circle, center of the ring. More forward pressure from Kaleb Harris.
Every time he gets his feet set where he wants to be, though, Brito just moves. He does a good job of getting out of the way.
It's a switch of stances from Harris to southpaw, right back to his orthodox stance. He's naturally right-handed. Perhaps a bit of plan B here in the 5th and final round from Kaleb Harris. Switch of stances. And not getting through. Brito turning and firing back with the right hand. Brito just not complying the fight against the ropes. Continual movement from Elvin Brito. Flick jab.
Smart game plan. He's just trying to land punches when he can. Doing a good job of landing power punches too. Overhands, uppercuts, everything.
Two really talented bare-knuckle fighters, Kaleb Harris, Elvin Brito, have gone the distance. Look at the body language. Much more positive from Elvin Brito.
You know, you never really know exactly what the judges are looking for. Like I said, in my opinion, the best thing that Kaleb Harris did was forward pressure. He was pressuring, but is it enough if you're not landing as many punches?
We've had a second round TKO. first-round TKO, a first-round knockout. The split decision, Bobby Taylor defeating Luis Hernandez. Our last bout was a second-round TKO. Now this bout, our feature fight of the evening, going the distance. For the second time tonight, the 3 Mississippi judges' scorecards will be tallied in red. Brito certainly reacting as though he has won this fight.
You might want to wait till you read the decision there. I've seen some crazy stuff happen in the past. Definitely confident that he won the fight, though.
No animosity between these two fighters, nothing but respect. That was a really respectful fight. Chris, earlier in the broadcast we talked about in close rounds, oftentimes the judges will give it to the fighter who is pushing forward. In this case, if Brito does get the decision, because of all that effective countering off of the movement.
Exactly. I mean, in a close round, you give it to the guy who's pushing forward. However, you have to land some punches. So if the other guy's outlanding you 2-1, it's not really a close round anymore. So it all depends on what the judges were looking at. If they were counting a lot of those punches, I think most of those would have to be counted. In my opinion, Brito won, but you never know what the judge are going to look at.
A win for Harris would be his 3rd in BKFC. A win for Brito would be his 2nd in Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Up next, it is our co-main heavyweights, Dillon Cleckler versus Frank Tate. That's followed by our main event of BKFC 11, this stacked card from Oxford, Mississippi. Luis Palomino versus Isaac Vallie-Flagg. Again, the winner becomes the first ever Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship 155-pound world titleist. The Bare Knuckle TV app is now here. It is presented by Fusion CBD. Get unlimited access to the full library of BKFC events, fighter interviews, behind-the-scenes content, and more. Available on all smartphones and on most streaming devices. You can download right now at bkTVapp.com. The fighters continuing to wait. Jeff Houston stepping into the BKFC ring. Set now to learn the winner of this fight from the great Jeff Houston.
Ladies and gentlemen, after completing the scheduled 5 rounds, our judges send into the ring a split decision. Scott Michael scores the fight 50-45 in favor of Harris. Bill Clancy scores the fight 48-47 in favor of Brito. And JDD scores the bout 49-46 to the winner by split decision. Elvin Leon El Bandido Brito.
And like I said earlier, you never know what these judges are exactly looking at. One was 50-45 for Kaleb Harris. The other two had it the other way. That's kind of a huge discrepancy, so you never know what these judges are looking at. You got to go out there and try to finish these fights.
Elvin Brito claims the split decision. And again, the judges' scorecards, the dissenting judge, 50-45, that's 5 rounds to 0 in favor of Harris.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what was going on there. Hopefully it's some sort of a misprint, because I don't see how that would have been possible. But maybe he was just all about the pressure. Like I said, he did put out pressure very well.
The winner, by way of split decision, Elvin Brito defeats Kaleb Harris.
All right, gentlemen, to the line. Buckle up.
Closing in on tonight's BKFC 11 main event, Luis Palomino 43 pro MMA fights. His most substantial win in MMA coming against Jorge Masvidal. Palomino at age 39 says this is the biggest fight of his life, facing Isaac Vallie-Flagg. 24 pro MMA fights, including 4 in the UFC, 2 in Strikeforce. Vallie-Flagg says winning this title means everything to me. The winner becomes the first ever BKFC 155-pound titleist. It is our main event of the evening. You can download right now the Bare Knuckle TV app, the full library of past events, right now at bktvapp.com.
It's time to knuckle up. In the 305, a storm has been brewing.
The Peruvian-born Luis Palomino.
I was destined to be where I am today.
One-way traffic now for Luis Palomino. Spinning back fist.
Nobody's there when you're doing and putting in all that hard work, all that sacrifice, all those meals that you can't eat, the drinks that you can't have, the party that you can't do. All of that is done where nobody can see it. And we do it, and we train that hard so that the fight can be very easy, so we can enjoy the moment. I'm gonna slice that face until he's out.
But no title shot is without contention.
Everybody knows it, that I deserve this belt. I feel, they're fighting for that interim belt. I'm really the champ.
I don't care what Jim says about me. He's got his fight bravado, and that's fine. When I get the belt wrapped around my waist, Jim can come for the title if he wants it, but that's gonna be my title. Coming alive. I don't need to go online and say a bunch of shit. I'm gonna be doing my talking in the ring, and then I'll do the same thing with Jim.
Good right hand in the left.
I think I want this title more than anybody right now. We have a game plan going into this, but it's gonna be hitting him more than he hits me. I think Luis is gonna be my toughest challenge, and the dude has tons of experience, and he's a really good striker. So the fight in front of me is always the toughest one, not the one behind me or the one after that. I won't lose, and I can't lose.
That is it. One punch, walk away, knockout win. Game, set, match. Big overhand right, counter right hand.
It's Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship 11.
It's time to knuckle up.
Our co-main event of the evening. In the heavyweight division, Dillon Cleckler versus Frank Tate. And our tale of the tape is presented by BetOnline.com. Go to BetOnline.com right now to see the up-to-date odds for this fight.
The thing I noticed when we were doing the weigh-ins, doing everything, is the big reach advantage. Frank Tate has huge arms. Look at that. He's got a 6-inch reach advantage. I know it hasn't always paid dividends tonight, but a lot of times, if a guy knows how to use it properly, it's just another asset. Frank Tate has that right now. So we'll see if he's able to utilize that, or is it going to be the power of Dillon who's going to be able to come in and land that big right hand.
Frank Tate, 13 pro MMA bouts in his career, including 2 in Bellator. Was a college football player at the University of Alabama at Birmingham, where he was a safety. Well, they're mostly linebackers, but here's a safety.
And that's a big safety. My goodness, look how big this guy is. He's got that. I don't see how anybody threw a pass around him. He's got that 81-inch wingspan. Probably intercepted every pass coming his way. Just a good athlete, though, all around. You can tell if you're a college football player, you're a professional fighter, this guy's just an athlete. See if he can utilize that, and that can transition over to being a great fighter. We'll see you tonight.
Tate said to us in our fighter meeting, my best attribute as a fighter is that I am a thinker. He said, I like to bait my opponent. I like to set traps. I want to keep Dillon Cleckler continually guessing in this bout.
And that's a great game plan. That's the mark of a veteran. You can draw people in. You can throw a couple right hands at the body and look at the body and throw that overhand at the top. That's what he said he likes to do. He likes to set people up with his punches. That's a high-level move. He's had a lot of fights. It's going to be interesting to watch today.
Frank Tate said to us, if I get in the clinch, I have to stay relaxed. I think that Cleckler will try to tie me up, wear me down, lay heavy on me against the ring ropes. I can't let that happen.
Yeah, there wasn't too much of a weight disparity. I think it was about 10 pounds. But I think it's probably a good point. Cleckler probably will try and push him into the ropes. He wants to be active. He wants to move, does Frank Tate. He wants to surprise him with different kinds of punches coming from a lot of angles.
Dillon Cleckler, 10-1 in his pro MMA career. He's fought 9 times in the outstanding promotion Island Fights. Also a college football player. He was a linebacker.
Hard to believe.
The University of Southern Mississippi, the school of Brett Favre. Cleckler told us, I like to be a stalker in fights. Keep moving forward, and he said, I've put a big focus, a premium, in fact, on working from the clinch and training.
That's good decision on his part, but the thing that jumps out to me of those 10 wins, he has 9 of those are by knockout. That shows me he's heavy-handed. He wants to get in there. He wants to land that big right hand. I know Frank Tate spoke about that. He wants to hit me with that right hand. That's why it's Frank's job to move, be coming from different angles, throw odd punches. Cleckler wants to get in there and wreck him every way he can with those big, powerful shots, lean against him when he can, take advantage with his size.
Dillon Cleckler told us, I know Frank Tate very well from MMA. He said, I respect him. We've never fought, we've never trained with each other, but I know he's a tough guy. Well, there's Chris Lights Out Lila on screen. You can get that Toe to the Line shirt. You can get any Bare Knuckle shirt right now. 50% off tonight only to welcome back Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship with this card from Mississippi. BareKnuckle.tv/shop. Again, a 50% discount tonight only on all t-shirts. This is our co-main event of the evening. Back we go to Jeff Houston.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now set for the co-main event. Scheduled for 5 2-minute rounds in the Bare Knuckle Heavyweight Division. Presented to you by BetOnline.ag. Introducing you first, fighting out of the red corner. Tonight, he wears purple trimmed in black. His official weight, 245.6 pounds. He is an MMA veteran of 13 professional fights. Fighting out of Birmingham, Alabama. Here is Big Frank Tate. And across the ring, his opponent fighting out of the blue corner. Tonight, he wears black and gray. His official weight, 257.5 pounds. His MMA record stands at 10 victories, opposite a single defeat. Fighting out of Pensacola, Florida, here is Dillon, Bad Boy, Cleckler. And our referee in charge of the action, Wayne Spinola.
Phil, you ready?
Two accomplished MMA fighters
Scott, you
tonight,
ready?
both making their respective BKFC debuts.
All right, gentlemen, total line.
Up to scratch goes Dillon Cleckler and Frank Tate.
Level up!
Round number 1. Slight step off of the scratch line from Frank Tate. Black and gray trunks for Cleckler, black and purple trunks for Tate. 1-1-2 to start things off offensively for Frank Tate.
I like that entry through the long jab, trying to establish that right away. Oh!
Right hook didn't fully get through from Cleckler on the exit. Very measured start. Naked rear right uppercut not landing from Tate. Again, these fighters know each other well. A lot of respect. Both know that they're facing in their respective opponent. Chris, a really powerful puncher.
Definitely changes things when you know one punch can end the fight really quickly.
Wide open stance, stepping in is Frank Tate, angling off his Cleckler effectively. 1:10 remaining, round number 1 of our co-main event. Right to the body, clever punch from Cleckler. Entry on the left hook from Tate. Tate, a very wide stance, lands that check left hook.
I like how Dillon's coming in with hard shots to the body.
Much more traditional boxing stance for Cleckler than for Tate. It's really an MMA striking stance for Frank Tate. Very wide. See the foot placement.
And like you said, he wants to come from odd angles, and that's exactly what he's trying to do right now.
Hands high and tight for Cleckler. Right hand just misses on the counter from Tate. Drawing out the left hand. Big right hand lands from Dillon Cleckler. Holding the half plumb, landing the right, then the left. Cleckler moving in right to the body. See the big gasping exhale from Tate. Nearly down, he is wobbled, hurt indeed. And now that's ruled a knockdown. No, that's time. End of round one.
He definitely got saved by the bell there. As soon as he got clipped, he was wobbly. He was a sitting duck right there, and Cleckler saw it. If he could have had 2 more seconds, I think he gets a big knockdown, possibly a knockout. Good punch right to the side of the face right there. That really wasn't the one that hurt him, though. There was a right hand that hurt him. You can tell he's a little hurt right now. That one clipped him as well. Sometimes those ones that kind of hit you in a funny place, back of the head, side of the neck, something like that, that really knocks off your equilibrium.
Hey, the switch worked. The switch worked. Good.
All right, gentlemen.
We saw an outstanding replay. Frank Tate, his fingers nearly dragged onto the canvas. That would have been a knockdown. Wayne Spinola was in perfect position, ruled it correctly as a non-knockdown.
He's got a broken finger, I believe.
What am I doing? Hey, what am I doing?
Here's another look at that.
Watch the right
hit.
hand of Tate. And the left hand, neither touch. Great work by referee Wayne Spinola. That's really the difference, a few inches between a 10-9 and a 10-8 round for Cleckler, Chris.
Absolutely. If that hand touches the ground, that is a 10-8.
Round number 2.
And let's see if Frank Tate can shake off the cobwebs and not let that get in his head that he just got clipped and was almost on the ground. See if he sees a little bit more of a sense of urgency. He's got to establish his game plan, throw that 1-2, get that long jab out there.
No standing 8 counts under the BKFC rule set. There are, of course, mandatory 8s. I thought at the end of round 1, Spinola had second-guessed himself and was going back and saying, yes, his hand touched. But it was the end of the round, and again, great work by Spinola. Tate most definitely did not touch the canvas with either hand. Still a very strong round 1 for Dillon Cleckler.
Yeah, anytime you land a big punch like that and really put the guy on the back of his heels like that and almost falling down, it's a great round.
Tate trying to get his offense going in round 2. Step in right hook, misses from Cleckler.
Cleckler keeps changing stances quickly and trying to do like a right hand lead.
Spinola telling Tate, watch the fingers extended. There's a big right hand on the chin, and that visibly rocked Frank Tate. Holding the half plumb now is Cleckler. Not enough action in the active clinch. Spinola calls the break.
Well, Frank Tate did a great job of tying up right there. He got hurt again.
The quickest way to get a separation from a clinch is to lock your hands. S-grip, gable grip, it doesn't matter. That will get the separation from the referee every time.
Good right hand by Tate right there.
20 seconds remaining, round number 2. Tate trying to fire back, misses with that right hand. Cleckler feeling better about things.
Ooh.
Slow start to this fight, but really picking up at the end of round 1. And picking up here again at the end of round 2. More good work from Dillon Cleckler. Tate nothing on those punches, couldn't land. Next stop, round 3.
Both guys landed good punches right there.
Breathe. Deep breath in. Take a 3 deep breaths in. Deep breath in. And relax. Sit up, sit up, sit up, sit up. Deep breath in. And relax. Okay? Sit down. When you step with that hook, step with it. Use your footwork like we practice, okay? Step with it. 3-2. 3-2. 3-2-3. You don't have to run after him. You got your feet too wide. Sit down. You gotta breathe. Breathe. I need you to relax. I need you to relax.
Work that body. Take some pep out of it. Okay? Then we'll stay high. Bring it out of him. All right? Feint in. Bring it out. Let's catch him over top. All right? Feint it out of him.
There's Cleckler with another big punch. You could tell that Frank Tate did not like what he was feeling right there. He doesn't want to take clean punches.
Round number 3.
I really liked what I heard from Frank Tate's corner. They want to see 3-2-3. That's hook, straight hook.
Good left hand, and down goes Frank Tate.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Come over here.
Is he going to let it go?
Sure. Here we go. Buckle up.
He's going to jump all over him right now. I think he smells blood. One more good punch, and that should be it.
Cleckler literally running back into the pocket, just missing with that right hand. Tate in all sorts of trouble. Spins 180. Eats another right hand and another. Down he goes again.
I don't think he's getting up. Look at the look on his face.
7, 8, 9, 10. That's it.
There's the 10 count. There's the KO win for Dillon Cleckler.
Just too powerful at the end of the day. Every time he landed a good punch, you could tell that bothered Frank Tate. Frank did a great job of continuing to get up, continue to fight, but I think it was just too much. Dillon's just too strong and hits too hard. Big, strong heavyweight we have right there.
I know that Joey Beltran, our outstanding BKFC World Heavyweight Champion, is watching tonight. Certainly paying attention to this bout, our co-main event of the evening. No doubt paying attention to the victor, Dillon Cleckler.
Well, I'd definitely be paying attention. I don't want to deal with a guy who hits that hard.
BKFC, Chris, is stacked in the heavyweight division, led by Joey Beltran.
Here he comes, throwing the big right hand. Kind of clipped him right behind the ear, kind of on the neck there. The second knockdown right here, he's still kind of wobbly. And that's exactly what he's supposed to do, jump on him. Oh, big right hand. He's got to overwhelm him with punches from all angles there.
It's just one fight. We're not giving him a title shot against Joey Beltran yet, but that's a really strong BKFC debut for Dillon Cleckler. 10-1 in pro MMA, now 1-0 in BK.
And Frank Tate was a game opponent he came to fight.
Frank Tate, again, a very talented fighter, 2 bouts in Bellator, 6'4", 245.6 pounds, and that phenomenal reach. He was never able to really extend the reach, never could get off with the one with the jab and keep Cleckler at bay on the outside.
I think every time he tried to land that big jab and come in, Cleckler was coming back with the big right hand. I think he knew if he committed to that too much, he would take another punch.
And I talked about the respect between these two men who know each other so well from the Southern MMA circuit. That was a really fun co-main event and a great performance from Dillon Cleckler in victory. Here's Jeff Houston.
Ladies and gentlemen, our referee in charge, Wayne Spinola, reaches the count of 10 at 59 seconds into round number 3. Your winner by KO, Dillon Band by Cleckler.
Frank Tate, a very game, very worthy opponent. Dillon Cleckler, relatively muted start to round number 1, fairly slow start to round number 2, but Cleckler finishing round 1 strong, finishing round 2 strong, and then simply steamrolling in round 3.
Well, once again, the first bare knuckle fight, I understand it takes you a minute to get your feel for it, to see exactly what's going on there, but once he really got a good feel for it, he knew exactly what they had to do. He just had to land punches. And when he comes in and he lands them, look at the results. He's gonna knock out most people he fights, I believe. Just coming forward with hard punches. Didn't even land in the perfect spot, but it does enough to knock him down pretty bad.
The winner, by way of 3rd round knockout, Dillon Cleckler defeats Frank Tate.
All right, gentlemen, to the line. Buckle up.
We're so proud to tell you about the new Bare Knuckle app. You can also go to bareknuckle.tv/shop, just like Anthony Rumble Johnson, and get official merchandise. Tonight, to welcome back Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, all t-shirts for BKFC are 50% off. Again, that offer extends only through tonight. bareknuckle.tv/shop. Here's Brian Sosha.
How's it going here with the winner, Dillon Cleckler, first ever Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship fight, and you owned it out there. So I have to ask you right off the bat, first of all, congratulations. But second of all, training for Bare Knuckle as opposed to being in the actual fight for Bare Knuckle, I'm wondering what differences you felt.
There's actually a lot of difference that I'm still figuring out as far as training for Bare Knuckle. When I first signed the contract, I reached out to a couple of guys that I've trained with before, Chase Sherman, people from that Alan Belcher MMA camp out there, because they've done Bare Knuckle before. So I reached out to them to see what they did to train for it, because it's a strange combination. It's not really boxing. It's not really, it's not really MMA. There's just certain things you can train for.
So obviously you did the training the right way, because you just had a big win. Everyone saw it. The crowd was excited. So I have to ask you though, round 1 and round 2, as you're finishing up the rounds, I mean, you're really smoking. You're going at it, and then the bell rings. It's got to be frustrating. So going into round 3, I mean, what was your mindset?
Yeah, it's the 2-minute rounds are quick. Like, I'm from MMA, so I'm not used to the 2-minute rounds. But when you're in there, it's like you feel like it's going forever, and then all of a sudden the bell rings. So it's hard to get something going. I clipped him real good in the first round. He went down. The bell rings right on the moment. So it's once you get the feeling out of a person, in the first round the bell rings. So it's like each round you kind of gotta feel them out the same each one.
Definitely. And last final question here. I noticed throughout the fight here and there your stances were changing. Yeah. Was that part of the plan, or was that just what you had to adapt?
Man, I don't know. I'm telling you. It was just kind of the heat of the moment,
He's like, it helped me win, right? That's all that matters.
This hand was closer, so let's hit him with that one.
I like it. That's the way we like it.
Kind of what it was.
Dillon Cleckler, a rising star here in Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for coming on with us. And go get showered, go get cleaned up. Thank you so much for a great fight. And I'm going to throw it back to the guys at ringside right now. My good buddies Chris and Sean. What's going on, guys?
Brian, great stuff. Thanks to you. Thanks to Dillon.
Thank you.
Cleckler victorious in our co-main event. That was a quality win versus Frank Tate, a really good opponent. And all quality, Chris, coming in our main event. Again, Luis Palomino versus Isaac Vallie-Flagg. 2 A-listers from MMA, now A-listers in BKFC. The winner becomes the first ever Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship 155-pound world titleist.
I can't speak highly enough about this fight. We have 2 very different fighters, but very similar, very tough guys. These guys do not get hurt. They don't get knocked out. They do the damage. Different styles, though. You got Vallie-Flagg. He's going to come in, try and work inside most of the time. The other opponent, he's going to throw a lot of counter punches, trying to stay on the outside. It's going to be a great fight. I just can't wait to watch it.
Palomino, early in his pro MMA career, I commentated him in Bellator, all about aggression. When he beat Jorge Masvidal in MMA, he was a very aggressive fighter. He's told us as he's gotten older, he has transitioned to be a more cerebral fighter, more technical. Isaac Vallie-Flagg has always been a technical fighter, but as he's transitioned late in his career, now to BKFC, he's talked more about the premium on the clinch.
Being very smart. He uses that pressure. He uses the pressure. Palomino, on the other hand, is not being as aggressive. He's wanting to be smarter, take punches when he can, hurt the other guy when he's smart to, doing exactly the right thing. Older fighters become smarter fighters, or they become done fighters, and that's what both these guys are. Much smarter fighters. Both know exactly what they want to do. It's all going to be where the fight happens, the distance. Whoever's able to get the right distance is going to win this fight.
BKFC 11, we're so glad you're with us, watching worldwide across the U.S., Canada, online, on the app. And here are the numbers for our main event of the evening. Luis Palomino versus Isaac Vallie-Flagg. And you see our tale of the tape is presented by BetOnline. Go there now to get the up-to-date odds on this main event.
And I know I talked about it earlier. This is a great matchup for many reasons. Look at this tail of the tape. Almost identical in everything. These guys are the same fighter as far as all their skills they have right now, their toughness. They just come at the fight from a different way. And that's what we're going to see. Who's going to be able to impose their will and win the fight tonight.
You see the odds. Palomino plus 125. Vallie-Flagg minus 155.
I would think that would have to be due to the experience factor. Flagg having 3 fights, Palomino having 1. However, he looked phenomenal in that first fight.
The champion again. To the winner goes the inaugural BKFC 155-pound world title. Both almost getting emotional speaking about this opportunity.
Absolutely. These are guys who have dedicated their whole life to combative sports, and no matter how good they were, they haven't quite been able to get to where they want to, and this is an opportunity for them to right that wrong, and this is tonight, the night this is going to happen. They're so fired up for the fight.
Luis Palomino, 43 pro MMA bouts, 1-0 in BKFC. And he calls this tonight, without question, the biggest and most important fight of his career.
It's amazing what you talked about. He's got 2 fights versus Justin Gaethje. Great fights he's put on. Everybody loved those fights, and yet he says this is the biggest fight of his career. And I agree with him. This is a chance for him to be the first 155-pound champ in the fastest growing sport in the world right now.
Palomino, very respectful of Isaac Vallie-Flagg. That respect flowing both directions. Palomino said of his main event opponent, he's got a great clinch. I feel he's flat-footed in the open space. That's where I have to do my work.
Like I said earlier, this is a fight about distance. These guys both know it too. It's not going to be any surprises out there. It's just who's able to implement their game plan, who's going to be able to dictate the pace, dictate the distance. Whoever's able to do that is going to come out victorious.
The Peruvian-born, Florida-based Luis Palomino now in the BKFC ring. Isaac Vallie-Flagg, so poised at age 42. That poise matched by 39-year-old Luis Palomino.
And you know, you have to think about Vallie-Flagg. He's at 42 years of age right now. I think he feels this is his last opportunity to become a world champ. He's going to take advantage of this as much as he can. You can tell, look at him, he's fired up. He's already got a good sweat going on. He's been out there working out in the back. He can't wait to get in the ring, and he's been acting like that the entire time.
To get our main event of the evening started for BKFC 11, we send it back to Jeff Houston.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now set for the main event. Scheduled for 5 2-minute rounds for the inaugural BKFC 155-pound World Championship. Presented to you by Fusion CBD. For fast muscle recovery, choose Fusion CBD products. Sanctioned by the Mississippi State Athletic Commission, Commissioner John Lewis. Our 3 judges scoring this championship fight: J.D. Dees, Scott Michael, Wayne Spinola. And the third man in the ring, our referee in charge of the action at the bell, Big Dan Mergliata. And now, ladies and gentlemen, live worldwide on the Bare Knuckle TV app, from right here at the Lafayette County Arena, Oxford, Mississippi. It's time to knuckle up! Introducing to you first, fighting out of the red corner. Tonight he wears black with gray. His official weight, 154.8 pounds. He is undefeated in the squared circle as a bare-knuckle fighter at 3-0. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the UFC veteran fighting out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, Iron Isaac Vallie-Flagg. And across the ring, his opponent fighting out of the blue corner. Tonight, he wears black. His official weight, an even 155 pounds. He is also undefeated as a bare-knuckle fighter at 1-0. Please welcome the Bellator and World Series of Fighting veteran from Miami, Florida, by way of Lima, Peru, Luis Baboon Palomino.
Luis Palomino told us, I can't be stationary. I have to constantly be in and out with my movement. Isaac Vallie-Flagg said to us, I want to be aggressive while staying supremely technical. The bell in round number 1.
And just a ton of sweat coming off of Vallie-Flagg right. He's really fired up and ready for this fight.
Black trunks for Luis Palomino, black and gray trunks for Isaac Vallie-Flagg. To the body goes Luis Palomino. Clever, there's a big left hand, and that rocks Isaac Vallie-Flagg. Palomino sensing the moment early and knockdown number 1.
Wow, clipped him right away. Oh, he's hurt, he's hurt.
See what Dan Murgliata does here.
I don't know if he's gonna let it go. I think it's a
Vallie-Flagg looking to his corner, and that is it! Just like that, the inaugural BKFC 155-pound world champion is Luis Palomino.
Wow, I did not see that coming. I don't think anybody did. Vallie-Flagg usually such a tough guy, not able to get knocked down, unable to get rocked. Didn't happen right there. That's all it takes is one big punch, and that's what Palomino was able to do. Landed a huge punch into the night right away. I thought for sure this fight was going to go at least a few rounds. Both these guys just been extremely tough throughout the career.
Again, Luis Palomino told us, this is the most important fight of my career. Mission accomplished. He gets the strap. He is the champion. That was phenomenal against a phenomenal opponent.
And here, oh wow, we're gonna watch this again. Exactly what happened. Just a left and a right. I didn't see the right sneak through there. After that, he was already hurt. It was just a matter of time after that.
Vallie-Flagg looked good there, but then you see the wobble.
Yeah, that's just his will and his determination trying to get up, but his feet weren't underneath him. There's nothing he could do about it at that point.
Now watch Isaac Vallie-Flagg. Dan Murgliata is asking him, do you want to continue? Isaac Vallie-Flagg breaks eye contact with Dan Murgliata, and he looks to his corner.
And he has his mouthpiece in his hand already. Do you see that?
By the way, look at Luis Palomino. He is a longtime practitioner and indeed the rank of master in capoeira. I guess so in that celebration.
I thought that was some form of gymnastics, but I don't know.
Watch Isaac Vallie-Flagg. Now Murgliata is asking him, do you want to go? What you're looking for as a referee is a strong yes. Vallie-Flagg looking to his left, to his corner. Murgliata says that is it. It's the eye contact that stops the fight. That's great work from Dan Murgliata, the best referee in MMA, and showing why he is here in BKFC.
Yeah, it was a great move. A lot of people would let that fight go on, and I love Vallie-Flagg, but he was just going to take some damage right there.
You see no protest whatsoever from Isaac Vallie-Flagg. He was caught, and Chris, we saw it on that beautiful replay, those 2 punches, that was it.
The first one hurt him, the second one he didn't even see, a little sneaky right uppercut, and that did the job.
Luis Palomino, you see the smile on his face. He was so focused on this fight. He didn't expect to start that quickly. He talked about being technical, being measured, but he saw the opening and he took it.
Well, he capitalized on it too, and it was those crisp hands putting them together in a combination. It was that second punch, I believe, that actually put him out.
Here is Jeff Houston.
Ladies and gentlemen, Big Dan Murgliata steps in and calls a stop to the main event at 45 seconds, round number 1. For your winner by KO and new BKFC 155-pound world champion, Luis Baboon Palomino.
Proudly wearing the belt is Luis Palomino. And being belted by BKFC founder and president, David Feldman.
I know he's only had 2 fights in the organization, but he's going to be very tough to beat. Here's another look at it after he'd already clipped him. This is just kind of putting the icing on the cake right there. The damage has already been done with those first 2 punches. The first punch really hurt him, but then when he threw that uppercut, I think that did a lot of damage. It's that one that you don't see that does most of the damage.
Right here, I'm thinking Isaac Vallie-Flagg is okay, and then he stumbles to his right, and I know that he is probably not getting up.
He did a good job. This is, like I said, will and determination to try and get up and continue to fight. His legs just weren't underneath him, and his head's not working properly. Look, he's trying to he's got his mouthpiece in his hand right now if you look at it. His right hand's holding his mouthpiece. He says, do you want to continue? He kind of looks over like,
Now look at Vallie-Flagg again. Mergliata wants to see eye contact. Vallie-Flagg looks to his corner. Chris, again, as a former pro boxing referee, I can tell you, when you ask a fighter, do you want to continue? Rarely do they say no. They usually, if they want out or they can't comprehend what's going on, they either say nothing or what. Almost never do you get a no. Fighters, of course, are so proud. A nothing or a what. That was a nothing there from Vallie-Flagg. He just simply couldn't respond. He looked to his corner. And again, great work from Dan Mergliata to stop this fight, and first-class work from the new champ, Luis Palomino. We welcome you back tonight. Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. We have returned in style with BKFC 11, and we're so proud to tell you all about our app. You can download it now at bkTVapp.com. Again, the Bare Knuckle TV app is here. It is presented by Fusion CBD. Unlimited access to the full library of past BKFC events, fighter interviews, behind-the-scenes content, and more. Again, available for download right now on all smartphones and most streaming devices. bkTVapp.com. Here is Brian Sosha. He is with the new champ.
I mean, look at this guy. Hey, it's Brian Sosha, of course, with who we call Bare Knuckle Baboon, Luis Palomino. I'm so excited. I know you're holding the sponsorship banner up, but let's make sure we can look at that. But let's look at the brand new, undefeated now, not only champion, but undefeated 155-pound Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship champion. Beautiful belt. My man, right here, the Bare Knuckle Baboon. You got to be feeling great. You got to be emotional. That was quick. How do you feel right now as champion?
Man, I feel amazing right now. It's unexplainable. I've been looking for those of you that haven't followed me or that don't know me, I have 4 world titles, and I actually I earned the 5th in 2012 in the show CFA. I beat James Warfield. He came in heavy. He was 3 pounds over, and for some reason, I made weight. I beat him, and I got punished, and I didn't get my belt. So this was like, after that, I've gone on fights against Justin Gagey twice to get that 5th belt again. You know, I tried again in other shows, and I failed, and I failed, and I failed, and you know, I failed like 4 times. And it took the 5th time to, you know, collect myself, get my life together properly. You know, I have a very happy home right now. I have my son with me, my girlfriend, my family is very, very close. And, you know, it gave me that mental focus to be able to bring out that old baboon, you know, that aggressor, that finisher. And it showed right now, you know, I worked so hard for this. I did 2 camps for this, you know, and it almost seemed like this show was gonna get canceled for a minute there, and the title wasn't gonna be in the line anymore. And you know, it was just very frustrating. It was a struggle, you know, in my mind. But I stayed the course. I believe in the Lord that He was gonna keep guiding me, and I kept working hard. And here we are, man. I'm the champion, you know.
You are the champion. You're referring to yourself as the Bare Knuckle Baboon. Yeah, that guy, the failures you're talking about, that's what it takes to succeed. We know that. Now, the Bare Knuckle Baboon, that's the new guy, right?
Yes.
This is the new champion. This is the new guy.
Yes.
And you hit some crisp shots. I saw that pretty quickly. I mean, the game's obviously going to end quick if you can make it, but was that in training what you were going for, to come right off and end it quick?
Yeah, so look, this is what it is, right? I'm known as a finisher. I'd go in looking for a knockout every time. In the first fight, in my debut, I wasn't looking for that because we're in a tournament. So I'm looking to make it to the end of the tournament, and then I don't care sacrificing a bone or 2 and breaking my hand on somebody's face. You know, in this case, Jim Allers. Jim Allers, when you have the belt on you like this is when you call yourself a champion, brother. I'm the champion. You didn't step up to the plate. I stepped up. Closed mouths don't get fed around here. You said no twice to this fight. You're trying to discredit my credit. You're trying to discredit the show itself by saying that this is not a valuable title shot. This is a valuable title shot. I'm a 4-time world champion, not a 5-time world champion. All right? And if you want to come and get this, you're going to have to kill me. You're going to have to really kill me to be able to get this belt. So get ready, because you already said no twice. What are you going to do, say no 3 times? So enough for you. It's my time. I'm the champion. You got to come and get this from me. And I want Jim Allers, and I want him in Florida, all right, where everybody can see it.
That's what I was actually going to ask you. You took my last question from me, because I know big on Instagram and all the socials, Jim has been running his mouth a lot. So you're willing to try and close that mouth as he tries to take your title, you're saying?
I tried 2 times ago.
Okay.
They called me in the 2nd round of the tournament. I said yes. He said no. He was scheduled to fight tonight with me, and all of a sudden, you know, somebody got positive for COVID, whatever. Long story short, it was his decision to not be here tonight. And then you're wrapping your mouth. Like, you decided not to be here tonight. Nobody took the shot from you. You decided, you know what, everything is not perfect in my camp, I'm not gonna show up. Because if my camp is not perfect and my trainers, all 3 of my trainers happen to be, God willing, never, they're happy to be sick, I'm gonna train online with them. And I'm going to show because I'm built like that. We're built different. I'll be here by myself if I have to because I have to come and get this and defend it now. You know, so it was his choice. So shut your mouth up already, man. It's your choice you're not here tonight. Enough with that already. Let's settle it. I'm ready to go. My hands ain't even hurt. We can do this next month if you want.
Wow, strong words. That's why they call him the Bare Knuckle Baboon. The inaugural 155-pound Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship champion. He wears the gold. He's going to go out and celebrate tonight. I'm sure he has some energy to do that after the fight. And thank you for coming on with us, man. Congratulations. I don't want to touch those knuckles because I don't want to hurt them, hurt the moneymakers. But we appreciate it, man, and great fight. Thank you.
And one more thing, just, you know, I showed the banner because there's so many sponsors, but my big players, FYI Yachts, Ralph Navarro, man, you're the man. You know, FYI Charters, my Zoom, and in the back of my shorts I have Ceviches by Divino, 1-800-INJURED, Banel Marina, and Luxuries by Design. Thank you guys so much, because without my sponsors, it would be so much harder to be able to get ready for this, especially the 2 camps in a row.
My man, I have a feeling you're going to have more ads next time after this great bout.
Oh, Infusion products. Don't kill me.
He's a champion and a pitch man.
Products.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much, Bare Knuckle Baboon. Appreciate it. I don't want to hurt those hands.
I'm good, man. Thank you.
All right, well, I guess now we're going to throw it back to the ring, talk to the announcers. Is that where we're headed? I'm sorry.
Brian, Luis, thank you very much. Chris, let's start the countdown clock right now. Luis Palomino, the champion, versus Jim Allers, 4-0 in BKFC.
Oh, you think they want to fight? I didn't notice. I didn't notice. It seemed, I can't wait for that fight. I mean, there's a lot of bad blood. You can tell already. Both guys are beasts. I'm excited. I'd like to watch it next month. That's what he said. We'll do it next month. I'm in.
Dave Feldman, the founder, the CEO, the president of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. This was his vision. It was fulfilled on June 2nd, 2018. He brought back this great sport that began in the 1700s through the late 1800s into the 21st century. That was BKFC 1. We've seen an evolution now in just over 2 years, this sport evolving rapidly, just like MMA evolved rapidly in the early and mid-90s.
And even onto this fight, what a great card we had. We had everything that I look for. We had a lot of great knockouts. We even had 2 that went the distance and had split decisions, and we had that title fight right there with obviously a lot of bad blood at the end of it. So it kind of was a complete night for me. I had everything I want to see.
You even have blood on your shirt. I have blood on my notes.
I don't know what happened, so I don't know. It was a great night, right?
We've talked about the high rate of finishes with Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. 8 bouts tonight, 6 finishes, including in our co-main and in our main event.
Well, that's what we want to see. They're pushing action. We want guys who come to fight. 2-minute rounds are set up for that. We have the ring set up in a way to promote action. We don't want guys who want to come out here and try and win the decision. We want people coming to finish. That's what people want to see. That's what I want to see. That's what the fans want to see, so that's what we're going to give them.
With our card tonight, BKFC 11 here in stunning. It's a really picturesque, beautiful college town. Ole Miss University is in this city, Oxford, Mississippi. We are back. We're back in full force. Most importantly, Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship is back safely, and we will continue to roll. You've probably heard the news right now. The Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship has signed an exclusive deal with DAZN. Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship will premiere on DAZN August 21st. On that card, you will see Helen Peralta versus Christine Faria. BKFC 13 then takes place September 19th. Thiago Alves versus Phil Baroni. Hector Lombard versus Kendall Grove. October 16th, BKFC 14. Shannon Briggs, former world heavyweight boxing champion, makes his bare knuckle debut. And remember our new app. Chris, this app is outstanding. It is the Bare Knuckle TV app. Comment on it now. Go online, tell your friends, tell fellow fight fans, most importantly, download the app. It's all of our past shows, all of the interviews with fighters, news and more available on all smartphones and most streaming devices, the Bare Knuckle TV app. Again, download at bktvapp.com. Phenomenal night of fighting tonight. Again, 8 bouts. In our co-main event of the evening, Dillon Cleckler taking out Frank Tate. And then in our main event of the evening, in 1 round, Luis Palomino becoming the inaugural BKFC 155-pound world titleist, defeating Isaac Vallie-Flagg. For Chris Lights Out Lytle, Brian Sosha, Jeff Houston, David Feldman, and our entire crew, I'm Sean Wheelock. Thanks for watching Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship.